You are live. Good afternoon, people. Let's. Oh, fuck me. That was a bit loud.
Yeah, I've got you as well.
Thank you, darling. Good afternoon, you lovely people. Welcome back to the Getting Better Grumpy Git in the corner.
In the corner.
Good afternoon, guys. Rob, Grumpy Sapper, Stitch, Lee. Welcome to you guys. Oh, look at that. I got an alert on time to say I'm live. Bloody hell, that's a first.
What you said last week.
Hello, just got an alert coming up here. Pat very conveniently posts another video just as I go live. If you're watching, Pat, I'll have to watch that later, mate. How are we all today, anyway? I'll apologise from the start if I start coughing or sneezing. And for any heavy breathing, I'm not a pervert. Some people will say it's the COVID. I know it's the flu. So I get it once a year usually. It does hit me hard. Not so hard this year because I'm not out working in the cold weather or anything. But it does knock me for six. And obviously with the other conditions and medication I'm on, I'm very, very restricted to what medication I can take. I've already done one little bottle of cough mixture since yesterday. And I've got a bigger bottle to go should it continue. It looks like one of them old style Wild West elixir bottles. Come and take the magic elixir. Good afternoon, Highbox. Hope you're well. Yes, Lost Souls, cutting down the smokes has helped a hell of a lot. I will admit that. And I am more or less admitting to myself now that, yeah, it's something I should have done quite a while back. Yeah. But my sleep patterns the last couple of days have been ridiculous. I went to bed last night as usual about 9, half 9. I was up again just after midnight, got back into bed again about 4. But I managed to stay there till about 8 this morning. But I am sweating it out now. Yeah, it's going well, Rob. Going really well, mate. Good afternoon, Tony. Especially with the way the throat is at the moment. There's one butt in the ashtray, and that is from about 4 o'clock this morning, I think it was. But how are you guys? Have you been keeping up with the news? I mean, I haven't seen a lot, but what I have been seeing is quite entertaining. Especially the one with Roland yesterday being called out in an open forum about what he's doing about compensation and for the victims of the vaccine damage. And he very rightly pointed out that they have put in place, what can I say? It's actually a reformed act to pay compensation to victims, although this goes nowhere near to what is needed. It's also one big lie because he said he's put in place. Well, there was already a Vaccines Damage Act, Damage by Vaccines Act put in place in 1976. All they did was amend it. Light our souls. Good afternoon, sweetheart. Phil, good afternoon to you, buddy. Yeah, all they did was revise that act, literally to cut down on the amount of compensation that will be paid out. Now, in the description under this live stream, there's 2 links. That is to 2 videos I did back in 2021, covering the history of the swine flu, more or less. And the other one is a story of one of the nurses here that was damaged by the swine flu vaccine, which has no connection to the one that they've used for the last couple of years. It was called Pandemrix, but it did do a lot of damage to people. Rather than go through it now, if you want to watch those 2 videos after the stream, you might well learn something. But the Damage by Vaccine Act is nothing new. It's been there since 1976. So Roland is just talking bollocks out of the top of his head. And he couldn't even say sorry about it to the gentleman. And I've got to give a big round of applause to that gentleman that did question him on it, because I could see in his face he was very angry. In fact, he was almost shaking with rage, as I would have been. And he held himself very well. So good on you, sir, whoever that was. I know a lot of people have been taking notice of it and watching the video. Yeah, Rob. I feel like that every time I mention the prick, to be honest. You know, he said what the day he got in, his acceptance speech was, we will be a transparent government. We will work with the people for the people. And as far as I can see, he has done anything but that. He has lied to us. He has bamboozled people. He's spread misinformation. And he's still doing it and getting away with it, which is very disturbing, to be honest. And they lost 2, what I would call major seats yesterday in by-election. And one of his cohorts, that fucking idiot Rees-Mogg, turned around and said, we'll class that as a win. How the fuck can losing 2 major seats be constructed as a win? He said, well, a vote for reform is basically a vote for Labour. Well, Mogg, what you should have said is a vote for reform or any other party is a vote against you, and it will stop you fucking winning. Yeah. No, Grumpy, Roland doesn't care, mate. He's got his own agenda. He's a dictator, basically, who's getting his strings pulled by the bigger money than he's actually got. Although his missus has just made God knows how many 100 million out of another fucking contract they've been awarded. And that is the only reason he's in that position, is to line his own fucking pockets. And it doesn't matter how they do it. Most of it's through fraud, by the looks of things. But what can we do? Other than turning around and burning down the House of Commons and throwing them out, which I wouldn't condone. We can't say things like that. I wouldn't recommend even trying that. But I think that is the only thing that they would take notice of. Paul Pearson, hi, good afternoon, buddy, and your friends and family over there. He had every right to do it. Well done, that man. Yeah, I mean, you've only got to look at, to me, this country's lost. We are actually lost now. You've only got to look at the way the police are operating. Basically, Islam is dictating how the police work now, not our government. And I believe the only reason the police are doing that the way they're doing it now is because they're fucking shit scared. It's easier to turn on the compliant English than the people out there causing fucking havoc. Mickey Mouse, good afternoon, buddy. Nice to see you in here. Yeah, high box. I've always said Guy Fawkes, as far as I'm concerned, is the only person that ever entered Parliament with an honest intent. Blitzer, good afternoon. What's that protest at the Swansea National Waterfront Museum tomorrow at 10 a.m. against Drag Queen Story? Yeah, that's still an ongoing thing. There is still, as you say, protests against it. But I think a lot of people are concentrating more now on bigger issues. They should be concentrating on all of them, because this concerns everybody in this country. I mean, they're sending the police round to schools now to have a talk with the kids. And this is from a very young age. And I don't believe they're teaching them anything. Most of them don't know fuck all about the law anyway. So how can they teach the kids? I believe they're just there to try and force into the kids that you will comply with whatever we say. Well, I'll tell you one for now. For police, you order me with an illegal order, you will be told to fuck right off. I will not comply. Learn to do your jobs, actually learn the law, because most of the orders you give now and the things you try to do are totally outside the law. And I think the law should be changed where you don't get backed up and you don't get immunity from your force, and you should be able to prosecute them as an individual. And believe me, it would soon fucking stop. Yes, Blitzer, exactly. Do not comply. I did exactly the same during lockdown. One or two of them tried to give me orders. I did actually put a video out where I had 7 of them, I think it was, around me, while they were talking to somebody else, because I was actually telling the bloke what they could do and what they couldn't do. And the little corrupt arseholes in blue didn't have a clue. They didn't know anything about the restrictions, the legislation, what they could and couldn't do. And I did point that out to them several times on my walks around every day for as long as I wanted, unmasked, unjabbed, untested. So, yeah, fuck you.
Unloved.
Hey?
Unloved.
Unloved? You loved me.
It's nice when you got out there, so.
She wants another lockdown, so I go out on my walks, but I ain't got the energy to do them anymore like that. I mean, I was going out walking for 4 or 5 hours at a time, and I told them they couldn't fucking stop me. Oh, we got 22 in here. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Anyway, subscribers, lurkers, those that are in the background for nefarious reasons, either screenshotting, recording, carry on. Absolutely carry on. Yeah. Does this face look like it gives a fuck? Yeah, Blitzer, you hit it straight on the head there, mate. It's those that just buried their head in the sands and complied. Unfortunately, they're the ones that have got this country to the level that it's at now. And unfortunately, there's more of them than there is of us. But many are fighting back a bit more now. Everybody's seen that, so I can remove that banner. Have it just been... Okay, Holly, thank you. Appreciate that. So, yep. What else? Oh, Khan. Dictator Carnage of London. Knife crime. All sorts of crime. Met police out of control. But he seems to deem it reasonable to spend another 6.5 million on a failed TfL, just renaming a few train lines. Yes, Blitzer, we've all seen it and we've all covered it. And Dan's put a video out on it as well. I don't quite know what Dan's doing this Sunday. Obviously, he didn't do a live last week. He may well drop in later. Oh, there he is. Look, talk of the devil. Good afternoon, Dan. Are you actually going to do a live Sunday, or are you going to play it by ear to see how you feel? And don't forget tonight, if you thought Big Dave Green was funny in here last week, then he's live tonight from 8 o'clock. There's a link in the description. If you want a good laugh and hear it like it is, that's where you'll get it. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious. It's total carnage in there, as he says himself. And I'm definitely going to force myself to stay awake and watch it. At the moment, Sunday's still an update tomorrow, but should be good. Okay, mate, no worries. Let us know. Obviously, I'll share the link out once you decide. So, oh dear. And this is what I've got at the moment. It's all moved to the chest now. Hopefully, I'll keep going till the usual time. But please forgive me if I do drop out any earlier. Yeah, the throat is the worst bit. I've got problems with it anyway. And it's not just because Mrs. W tried to cut it one night. I've had injuries in there for years.
If I'd have tried, I'd have succeeded.
Yeah, I'd have a bigger smile. What is it they call it?
Glasgow.
Glasgow smile or something like that, yeah. Thank you, Holly.
Or is it Glasgow kiss?
No, the Glasgow kiss is headbutt, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. But, we got 28 in at the moment, so.
Oh, Gabby.
Oh, Gabby, hello, sweetheart. Jason, anyone seen Abdul? Yeah. There was a post on Facebook that did make me laugh. The Abdul lottery. Pick any mosque in London, and whichever one they find him in, you're the winner. Colombian necktie. Thank you, Dan. You know what my memory's like. But yeah, I don't believe he went in the Thames. Absolutely not. If he did, at the time they said, he's going to be long gone. That they will never find his body. I know how strong the tide races are up there. But they found two others, but we haven't heard who they were, how they got in there. He's in Russia. Yeah. Gary, good afternoon, mate. Yeah, a little bit better. Did you do the COVID garden chicken soup? Nope, I've actually been doing lots of elixir. I've got a load of tablets there as well. But, Bulldog, good afternoon, mate. Stitch. So how are you guys today anyway? What have you got planned for the weekend other than splitting your sides with Big Dave Green tonight and then watching Dan on Sunday? Oh, the Rev will be live tomorrow night as well, I expect, if he can get his shit together. I think tongue out. Not that fuck's sake. No, I don't drink alcohol, Gary. I haven't done for about 15 years or so now. Pardon me. No. But I dare say there is alcohol in this somewhere. Let's have a look at the ingredients.
It's suitable for children, so
Do
it
not
shouldn't be.
exceed the stated dose.
Starting
Well,
on
well,
your
that
bottle.
went right out the fucking window because that was a new bottle yesterday. I don't do spoons. Oh, you've had lots of alcohol. Fair play, Gary. Yeah, get on, Dan. Don't believe that for a minute. Yeah, nice to see you in, Jason. I know you do have a lot to do. I've had apologies from Stuart B already. If he does get in, it won't be for very long. He's taken his missus' car for an MOT today. And apparently it's not a short journey. So fingers crossed if you're watching, Stuart, or listening. Hope it passed, mate. I know what a pain it can be when you're expecting a pass and it don't. I'm lucky enough, I check ours over usually before we take it in.
Truffle only looks with one eye anyway.
Yeah, but I won't say he's a pet MOT tester, but if it's something minor, they will do it, or they'll give me the opportunity to do it there and then. You know, if there's a bulb needs changing or something like that. But I usually check them out and do most of the maintenance on the cars myself anyway. Although one of them has been stood up for nearly a year because I can't see the point of tax and insuring two for the road. One of them, to be honest, is a pool car. It's a family car that if the daughter needs a car, if her's got to go in for repairs or MOT, or Heather's son, they need one. We've got one there. I keep it MOT'd, and then all they got to do is tax and insure it. It gets them back on the road. I'd rather be nailing the floorboards. Holly, do you know how much work that takes to lay somebody under a patio? Been there. Not with a body, but I've had to take patios up to lay things underneath them. I'll say that, not a body. YouTube, I have never ever put a body under a patio. Yeah, exactly, Holly. For legal reasons, that's comedy. Although YouTube doesn't seem to recognise shit like that. Or Facebook. I don't use many other platforms, but oh, the secrets, Gary. Oh, there's lots of skeletons in my closet, mate. You can hear the bones rattling every time you open the doors. One or two of them do fall out now and again, I must admit. But now, just to add to my predicament, I am going to have a cigarette. But it is now the odd one or two, and I still haven't touched. That's what, 3-4 weeks now since that I haven't touched the devil's lettuce. Yeah, it's got to be 4 weeks. What's that landing on me? Yeah, I am quite proud of that, actually, considering I've been smoking the shit for well over 45 years. Not always for medical reasons back then, I must admit, but lately it was. But it's just something... John Kitchen. So you call him a troll, do you, Blitzen? But there again, when you do ring in on a pap show, you are usually quite behind on the news, aren't you? Moo, good afternoon, mate. Moo, bury mine in the cellar. Yeah, but that's too easy to find, bud. Simon, hello, mate. Yeah, that's right, Simon. You know, you're under no obligation to be here at exactly 4 o'clock or even come in at all, buddy. You know, some people don't like to come in because they don't like me. They don't like me attitude. My attitude to that is, personally, I don't give a flying fuck. If somebody wants to be here and listen to me ranting on, they'll be here, you know. But nice to see you on Beardy's stream this morning, Moo. Thank you for dropping in there. We do try to support him as much as we can. It's not for everybody. I'm a refugee from the 1950s. Yeah, okay. Dr. Kersey, hello. Freedom of speech. And you funny lad. Mate, I do try to keep it to a reasonable level, obviously. I don't want to lose my channel. But if I've got something to say, I'll say it. It's the only way. I won't be silenced. I can be toned down, but I certainly won't be silenced. And I've got other platforms in place anyway that if they did want to do that to me, then I can still get the word out. You know, I'm just one man sat in front of a camera. I look at the news, I look at reports, I look behind the reports. This is why those two links are in the description on the swine flu outbreak back in 76 and how I found out that they were changing the Damage by Vaccines Act 1976 to suit what they were doing a couple of years ago. And believe me, you have got to jump through some fucking hoops to even get anywhere near getting that. I think the most payout at the moment, unless there's real extreme circumstances, is in, now don't quote me on this, but I believe it's in the region of about 120 grand. The fact that back then there was, I think it was either 6 or 8 nurses, I can't remember, it's in the video anyway, but between them they got paid over 60 million simply because the NHS forced them to take the jab with losing their jobs if they didn't. And was better tests for the last 5 years. That was a small outbreak, Blitzer. Go watch the videos, mate, before you start talking about that, believe me, because I spent nearly a month researching them. Charlotte E, you all right, mate? Yeah, 60 million between 8 nurses. And they only settled that finally in, I think it was 2018, I believe. But again, the information's on that video with my memory since the stroke, so I can't quite remember all of it off the top of my head. They are quite long. They're both 13 minutes long, but they're well worth listening to. I had some good replies and good reactions to them. I got a new cam, but it keeps glowing blurry. Keeps going to the, well, what you've got to do is go into the privacy settings, I think it is, Gabby, and you can change priorities between the cameras, or you can actually click between the two, or I can
turn off the laptop one.
Yeah, if you go in and turn off the laptop one, Heather's just said she's more up to date on that, and just activate your webcam, and that should give you a clear picture.
You might have to do it every time you plug it in, though.
Yeah. I mean, I have an ongoing problem with one of my cameras. If I switch over to that one, Now that camera will work sometimes for up to, I've done a whole stream with it working. But there again, I've turned it on and it just blacks out and quits after about 10 minutes. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's done it ever since we've had it. And that is the most expensive one I've got, actually. This one actually cost me nothing. This was one that was donated to the channel by Police Abusing Powers. Thank you, Dan. He has helped me out a lot here, including my 2 monitors. I had mismatched monitors and a little laptop and all sorts. And it's thanks to people out there that have got me to the setup I've got now, which is absolutely amazing because I'd never been able to afford it myself. No, it actually came from a guy who fixes computers, Gary. It is a good camera. I believe there's just a bit of an issue with it. I don't think it's anything to do with the computer, but it could even be me. It's a very high definition camera. I have cut the resolution down on it in the settings, but it could still be that it's trying to put stuff across. I don't know. I'm not a techie. Yeah, Dan and a few others have helped me out a lot. And in return, the stuff I was using, some of it I've passed on to others, including a laptop. But that was only a Windows 7 one. But the gentleman who needed one, Roger, slow death, there's a clock. Yeah, big conflict there, Dan. He just wanted one that he could watch and comment YouTube on. So I sent him my old laptop. And as far as I know, he still uses it. It's unsupported now, obviously, being Windows 7.
It still works. But
it still works. And it's not going to be long before they stop supporting Windows 10. I've actually got Windows 10 Pro on this one. That was installed before it was given me. And this is where I go wrong, because the Windows Pro is a little. See, there goes that camera out of bloody focus again. That's the other one, for crying out loud. Oh, I thought it was only Rev and Dan have tech issues. I apologise for the wrinkled shirt. I couldn't be bothered to iron the damn thing. I have my MacBook back by the time Windows gets bin. Yeah, there's already a Windows 12 being bandied about because they just can't solve the issues that Windows 11 is having. They've sent out updates and fixes, but apparently a lot of them you can't do. A camera to borrow, I mean. Don't be disgusting. Yeah, this is a problem, Gary. I rely on other people for their technical expertise. I'm real old school. You know, I'll plug something in the hole, and if it don't work, then it's like, can someone fix this? Oh, bloody fact. Leave that alone for a bit. It's the way I've always been. Impatient, yeah. I'll tell you what, would you mind if I open that window a bit?
I have no problem, sir.
Everything I do now, my chest is loosening up, so I get a lot of... Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, Gary, but there is a lot of people in my sort of age group. Straight to chisel. Yeah, but you can't connect them to the Wi-Fi, Dan. You know? Even the Virgin Wi-Fi box nearly went out the window a few times. But believe it or not, we've actually got BT now. And a lot of people don't like them, but we haven't had a problem with them. We haven't needed customer services yet, but we don't have a problem. What we got, 500 meg?
Oh, something like that.
Speed on that one. And every time I've done a speed check on it, it's been around that. And it's not that expensive.
But what they do, if there's a known issue in the area, they'll send you a message to let you know.
Yeah, we have had that. When there's been a known issue, they will contact you. Yeah, I wouldn't have Sky, Holly. I got pissed around by them many, many years ago when I had the Sky satellite with a dish.
I think it all depends on the area.
Yeah, but their customer services are shite. Same as a lot of the other ones. I got Sky and wasn't impressed at the beginning. Let me off for the first month. Well, we did have, well, I say it was an issue. BT didn't come out when they said they were going to come out to wire it all up. We did get a free month out of that and a big apology from them. Sky support. But touch wood, with BT, since we've had that in, what have we had it now, a year? Got to be, innit?
It's almost, yeah, it's 18 months.
18 months. We've never had a problem. It'll go off occasionally at the box, but in fairness, we'll get a message from them telling us that it's going to go off and for roughly how long. And it's never been more than 10 minutes or so. So I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one, Dr. Kerr. They, you always end up with the, how can I help you? And at which point...
that's when the call centre's in this country.
Yeah. And at which point I usually say, have you got anybody there that I can talk to that I can understand? Without trying to be rude, of course. Although I did have one cold call about something or other on my mobile, and they got on. I couldn't understand the bloody word. They couldn't understand the word I was saying. So in the end, I just told, look, fuck off, and I hung up. So green box down to Gary. We can go back further than that, mate. I'm quite new to the internet, as you know, but Heather's been on it for years. And when Virgin came out to fit their equipment up, they were quite surprised that we were still running on a Blue Yonder box. That's how old that was. If we had OpenReach, it wouldn't be too bad, because a friend of ours, a couple of doors up, he actually works for them and BT, and he I think he's retired but works part-time now for them. He's a veteran. Very nice bloke. Got a couple of nice motorcycles in the shed out the back. He's always said if I need any help or advice on it, give him a shout and he'd come and have a look. But touch wood again, up until now, I've never needed it. So, but it's nice to have people like that you can rely on. You know, the likes of Dan, Holly, and a few others. Yeah, if I've needed advice, if Heather's not here, they're the first ones to offer it. And it's usually good advice as well. Right, there's the StreamYard link for the panel. Obviously, I've only got room for 6. You will be vetted if you're not known to me. Even those that do know me know they have to show themselves on camera in the back room before they're allowed up. And look who's straight in there. Good afternoon, mate.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, magic, mate, magic.
Good stuff. I'm leaving my camera off again because I'm still in my fucking dressing gown.
That's all right, you lazy bastard.
My
Keeps you
smoking
warm.
jacket.
Keeps you warm.
Thank you,
darling.
Gary. Yes, they are a good group, mate. When I started on the internet, I fell on my feet and I got to know some real good people. Got to know some assholes as well, but I've put them all behind me now. So
I'm one of the arseholes.
yeah, but you're one of the good ones. But no, I have been lucky in that respect. And again, if I can help somebody in any way, I do. You know, that's what needs to be nowadays. We need to look after each other because there's nobody else that's going to do it for us.
Very true. How you both doing, Rog? Heather?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Heather's done a bit better than me, but there again, she caught it before me, so she's cleared most of it before me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were going to be on today. I saw you pop up, but I was in the middle of cooking something to eat, so I had to eat that quickly before I came on.
No worries, mate. No, it's starting to break up. I still have a bit of a breathing issue. Last night I was in and out of bed all bloody night.
Don't I know it?
Because I just couldn't get in a position where I could breathe comfortably.
Yeah.
But it's just all that shit that comes up once you've loosened it up and what have you. But this stuff does help a little bit. The magic elixir. It's not alcohol, by the way. It is a cough syrup.
It looks green. You sure it's like Jägermeister?
I'm sure I'm not supposed to be drinking a bottle a day of it, but I don't do spoons with medicine. It's a. I haven't tried the Vicks yet. Oh, would you like to rub Vicks over my breast tonight?
I didn't buy any.
Do you want to nip to the shop and get some?
Do you want me to sing Soft Kitty as well?
Yeah, soft kitty. That'll be nice. No,
Yeah,
it'll melt bloody hairs up, won't it?
Gary, if I rub my belly and rubbing my belly and patting my head's not so bad. If I do it the other way, I might rub off their hair that they've moved.
Yeah. All that does is remind me of Ready Breck. Central heating for kids, wasn't it? The advert, if I remember right. No, I don't do the night nurse, Gary, simply because there are meds in that stuff that I can't take with me regular meds that I'm on. And on that, I still haven't heard back from the consultant yet about my mass test the other week. No worries, Grumpy. No, you ain't missed nothing, mate. But I did have quite a phone conversation with my GP yesterday, telling him exactly how bad their service was at the surgery, where they're going wrong. I gave the receptionist a load of verbal through him. He's actually going to speak to the practice manager on my behalf. So I'm expecting her or him to get in touch with me before long because I absolutely slated them.
Hang on, did you say you spoke to the doctor and he's going to have a word with the practice manager?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath on that. The doctor doesn't want the practice manager to get involved. Trust me.
I actually told him it was either that or they would get their review on YouTube and Google reviews and it wouldn't be favourable. And he was quite shocked that I would do that. I said, I'd be happy to fucking walk away from you, mate, but I need me pills, you know. And that's what I said to him. I said, basically, what you've got now isn't a GP surgery. I said, all you've got is an online or a phone pill dispensary. And that's all they are. You know, I mean, how the fuck can you diagnose somebody over the phone? You know, they could be on the floor fucking dying. You can't see that, but they might sound normal.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
Yeah. I then... Who?
Matt.
Oh, that's Matt, is it? Hiya, mate.
Miraculous.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I forgot you've had to do another profile because of the powers that be, the faceless cowards.
Who's that? Matt who?
It seems to be happening all over at the moment.
What Matt is that? Do I know him?
Heather
Yes,
speaks to him
Matt, he phoned in
with
a
the
while
dog.
back with the dog, where he was. He thought he might have to get rid of the dog.
Oh, is that Matt? How you doing, mate? You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
But the one thing that has come out that has worked quite well with the GP surgery is I've got the one GP says me now if I need to be seen or spoke to. I don't go to any of the others. I actually get to him, just him. Because as I explained to him yesterday, I said, look at the letters you've got on file from my consultants. And he read one out, and it was from the last one they had was like September last year. Now, I pointed out to him that I've got a file here with over 50 letters in that have been sent to the practice, recommending drugs or telling them what meds I need. And it took me over 3 months of pleading with them and visits to them to actually get them to prescribe these because they hadn't read the fucking letters. So,
Glad to hear it, Matt. I'm glad life's good, man. Really happy to hear that.
absolutely. You've been missed, mate. You've been missed. Heather likes her characters from a certain program. Well, Gary, you'll be surprised that I only found out not so long ago that I actually had pleurisy as a kid. My parents had never told me. My doctors had never told me, although apparently it was on my record. And through all the years, that is one of the questions they do ask when you're filling in forms of anything you've had. And pleurisy is always one that's on there. And I've always checked no. Because I was never told. And I was very young. Apparently, I was about 4, and I very nearly died from it. I spent quite some time in hospital, which did piss me off that my parents hadn't told me about it. But
I had AIDS as a kid. Took fucking years to get rid of.
you try and give it away, and it just don't work, does it?
I know.
I've got AIDS. Do you want it?
Sorry.
But I was actually born with a hole in my heart and apparently a shadow on my lung, one of my lungs. That could affect the breathing, and the reason it is why it is. But the hole in the heart, the last time they checked, it looked like it. Oh, Big Dave, good afternoon, my Indian friend. Is anybody selling you an elephant?
Yes, he's got one on his windowsill or so.
Yeah, when the curtain's back, I've got an elephant in the window. There's always an elephant in the room. And he can't help but listen with the size of the fucking ears on the thing. The only thing I've got to be very careful of it with is in the tusks on it are genuine ivory. And I'm not too sure about the source of it because it was sent across to the UK. It's carved out of Burmese teak. The what do you call them over there? The tree fellas, I'll call them. Sounds Irish, doesn't it? When they were sending the timber to the timber yards over here, they quite often used to put some of these carved animals, all hand carved, to be sold off or given away, auctioned, whatever. What we used to do was people would say, oh yeah, I'll give you 20 quid for that one, and that 20 quid would go in with the next order for the villagers back in Burma. My sister actually had a beautiful but this is what I say. I know the tusks are genuine ivory, but you know, you got to try and verify the source and that now and have certificates. It's quite old, so I don't think it would be covered by the new laws. Big Dave is actually fixed now. Oh, you've had the computer guy in all day. Does that mean it's going to work tonight without any issues?
Dave's computer worked. It's Simon's that's got an issue.
Yeah, but I think he was working on the two. And there's me. Well, I don't really have any issues with mine during streams, but there again, I don't use the amount of tech that you guys have got. Although I know the Rev was pretty pissed off with the roadie stuff at the moment. But
how is the Rev, Dave?
Yep, he has fixed revs, but mine is fine. Yep, the proof in the pudding. We'll see later on. Yeah, well, this is what we thought, wasn't it, Holly? It's not the computer issue, it's the operator. And
Picnic. Problem in chair. Problem in chair. Not, hang on, I can't even fucking remember it. That's Holly's saying that was picnic.
Problem in chair, not in computer.
That's the one. I forgot how to spell. I forgot how to spell for a minute there.
Yeah, I mean, after I sat in front of the Revs kit there that weekend and I took one look, and I wouldn't even know where to start with the amount of buttons and sliders and flashing lights and levers.
He said when we left, Roger said when we left, well, Rev's got a big one, hasn't he? I was like, hey, you went computer setup. I mean, computer setup.
Oh, it was funny. I was just in shock. He just grabbed me and sat me in front of it and live. Like, oh. the actual real fish out of water, that was. Rev. But I've always been a believer in the more you've got there, the more there is to go wrong. Usually the operator, because it don't take much to press the wrong button. I've done it myself on this simple setup I've got here. And
is that one? Sorry, Roger, go on.
No, I was just going to say it has gone totally tits up at some point. But,
I was thinking, is that why they say size doesn't matter? It's what you do with it that counts.
Yeah, it's the motion of the ocean, really, isn't it?
If you can't control your large system, then nobody wants to know, do they? So better having a little one.
Losing control isn't always the capabilities of the operator. Especially with Revs drinking. Yes, Dave. We've seen that issue with Dan as well.
Don't bring me into it.
And that's not the reason I gave up drinking. Although it would have been a problem if I'd still been drinking and doing this, believe me, with the mess I used to get in. You think you guys had problems with alcohol. When you go away for a weekend and have your lovely partner carry you under her arm back to the hotel because you can't walk or remember where you were staying for the night, especially in front of your mates, that is very embarrassing.
They just thought it was funny.
I know they thought it was funny. Even the security on the hotel and the receptionist thought it was fucking hilarious. And they told me so the following morning. I'd never have got back there on my own. I'd have just slept on the beach or something.
He couldn't even remember which hotel it was.
I know I couldn't. Well, I never normally used to stay in hotels down there because I always used to stay with mates and that. But I wanted to show you a bit of luxury.
Didn't want you to get sand in your knickers.
Well, I in my drunken state, I did try and drag around some of the old late night drinking haunts and the little back street pubs and bars and stuff, and that didn't work because I couldn't fucking remember where they were. I think we did get to a couple, didn't we?
We managed to get to the what was the nightclub bar thing over the road at Victoria Hotel, that one.
Oh, that's the big one. That's Bertie's.
We
Yeah.
went there.
We got in there for nothing because I used to work the door there.
And I think it was in there that me and Sharon, oh, that was it. We decided we'd go somewhere else. And halfway down the high street, or whatever road it is, we decided that you weren't going to make it to another place. So we just go to the hotel. Sandra helped. Gary.
And, that's the sort of mess I used to get in.
I got respect, though.
I'm going to drop off for this one because I'm on my phone. I'm going to jump on the computer. Back in just a second.
All right, mate. No worries.
In a sec.
I did get plenty of respect because I'd matched him drink for drink. So the fact that I carried him back to the hotel, I got a lot of respect from that night.
So I never had sand in my vag, for your information. I'll tell you what, Holly, it's probably easier to get it off of that than it is off of something that us blokes carry around with us full time. Because that does hurt, believe me. Resist. Good afternoon, mate. Well, good evening now, isn't it?
Good evening.
Yeah, sand in the eye does hurt. And especially if you're not snipped, shall I say, it can get awkward in other places as well. Place in Orkney called Twat. There is one down in Cornwall as well, Matt, I believe, along with Venton Glimpse and some other weird names. Sounds like a pressing. No, I mean, Newquay Beaches, there's only one really where you can get up to those sort of antics, and that's Fistral, because it's the only one that's got dunes behind it.
In the dunes.
If you're really serious, then you go to Perranporth or somewhere like that that's got miles of dunes. Angry Murder Midget, hello.
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 I'm not angry. I'm not. I'm the non-angry Angry Murder Midget, sir.
You're the non-angry Murder Midget. That's cool. Oh, fuck you know. Oh, I'm going to have to go outside and get rid of that in a minute. Michael, good afternoon, buddy. I don't know why you keep calling me Corporal, because I've never actually served. I'm quite open about that. Reverend Simon Sideways, good afternoon, buddy. A friend of yours was in just now.
Well, hail King Day.
So I take it you'll be doing your normal stream tomorrow night then, Simon? Followed by a Sunday sermon, if you're sober enough. Fresh cold air. Yeah, I've actually got the window open, Gary. One, because I thought the cat wanted to go out. But the fresh air does help. Quite often when I have the coughing fit and that, I will go to the back door and stand out there. Yeah, he's opened himself to it, mate. He's he said something about going live tonight as well. With about 8 o'clock, I believe. There is a link in the description, people. Oh, now he's arguing with you, Simon.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, my Lord. This is going to be one of them weekends, isn't it? I can see it coming now. Wait for the old bill, yeah. With the way I've been slagging them off lately, I'm surprised I haven't had a visit yet.
Oh, am I, to be honest. Do you know what?
Go on.
After Dave's live stream last week, I'm surprised we all haven't been fucking locked up.
We're all on the hit list.
Oh, yes.
At some point this weekend, I am going to order a couple of Union flags as well. One I'm going to have on the wall up here, so it's in the background when I'm doing my videos. I'm going to have one in one of the front windows because we do have the police coming past very regular, and I would like them to stop and say something about it. And believe me, they will get the full force of Grumpy Git in the corner. And they will be hanging upside down, because I do believe that this country is in peril. It's at risk.
Hello, you beautiful bold bastard. Oh wait, you're not bold anymore.
So, talking to you now, Rog.
Yeah.
Wow, that's grown.
Yeah, I feel out of place now.
That has grown.
I ain't even got a fucking wig here I can put on.
You almost got a cliff.
It won't be long. It won't be long before it starts falling out from here backwards. Just left with a bit of front.
All I see with it like that is Sam Smith.
Oh no, you did not just say that.
Sorry.
Oh dear.
What did I miss?
Well, that's going to be a fucking nickname change on Sunday on StreamYard, isn't it?
Oh yeah, because you've got control of his channel, haven't you?
I have.
Hang on. What? I missed what you said, Roger.
Sorry. Anyway, how's the weather where you are, Rog?
I'll go back and listen to it.
Matt's put it in the chat anyway.
Sam Smith, how fucking dare you? What have I ever done to you that deserves that kind of comment?
Well, come on, it's better than the grippy-eyed, eagle-eyed action man, isn't it? With realistic hair.
I'd rather be an action man than that fucking weirdo.
You are a bit of a hairy bastard at the minute, though.
You could be the naval version, because they did one with a realistic beard as well, didn't they? You can see him there.
He'll get his brush out again. Start pushing it on live stream like he does.
You wait till it's like that. But brown.
Oh, that was a surprising one that was brought to my attention earlier on, just before we went live. Apparently, the Canadian government are looking at dropping magnesium oxide in the sea off of Cornwall.
What?
Yeah, under the guise of carbon capture.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, magnesium oxide, the first thing that's going to do is kill the fish. It's going to cause tumours in the fish.
They cause tuna in fish.
Well, tunas, yeah.
Anyway.
They're big fuckers, they are. They're off Cornwall now. But yeah, that is the sort of stuff that will cause a lot of issues with fish. So I'm along the lines, being as that's coming from dictator Trudeau over there, who's absolutely decimated the farming in Canada, I think he's going after the fishing as well.
Well, this is the thing, they're going after the farmers. They've been destroying farmland in America, contaminating water. They basically want us eating lab food, grown in a fucking lab.
You know, there's a lot of farmers and fishermen now. They've joined in some areas.
Fish of them, not fishermen.
Fuck you, fish of them.
I'd wait until I see them. I will call them a fisher lady, or I will call them a fisherman. I love sea. Yeah, I mean, me and Heather do enjoy our sea fishing. Obviously, we've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of changes in that even over the years. I used to fish beach fishing for Cornwall for the county. At the moment, when we go away, we fish up in Cumbria, and the fishing has been decimated. And I think most of it is down to the Spanish and the French. The actual Atlantic, believe it or not, is being ravaged, and always has been, by the Russians. Would you believe? Mm-hmm. Because we used to go down to Falmouth, and they'd have the big Russian factory ships tied up down there, up the estuary. Because we used to make a point of really pissing them off at 3-4 o'clock in the morning when we were night fishing by casting 6-ounce weights against the side of the boats, because they were only a couple 100 yards away and we could reach them. No, if you've ever heard a 6-ounce weight hit a big steel boat, it's like a fucking bell ringing.
Mm-hmm.
You cast one out, bounce it off the side of the boat. All of a sudden, you hear all this shouting. All the fucking lights have come on. They'd all be looking over the side, and we'd be hiding in the rocks, turning all our lights off and shit like that. Wait for them to settle down for an hour, turn all the lights off, and then again, bang, and up they'd come again. It used to really piss them off.
You were a twat, weren't you?
Oh, I was a right little bastard, me.
I'm surprised fish doesn't come out of the water glowing. The amount of fucking atomic tests that they've done over or near sea, I'm surprised they don't all come out fucking glowing green.
Believe it or not, the most polluted waters for fish, and I would never eat the fish that are there, are the farmed fish from Norway. That water is absolutely teeming with radiation from the Chernobyl thing. And they are some of the most contaminated fish in the world. The farm salmon from up there.
I know some women with some contaminated fish.
Yeah. They just smell bad. Oh, yeah, just tip me. He's been on here 5 minutes and we've already descended to this level.
I know, and it's always him. It's you, Daniel.
Should you expect anything else? Come on, let's be real.
Fresh
no, I did not.
Barbecue on the beach. Nothing like it, Matt. Absolutely brilliant, mate. We used to catch that many mackerel down on the fly cellars down in Newquay. It's a big concrete area that's safe to fish from for just about anybody. And what we used to do was when the holiday makers were catching them, and we'd gut them for them there. And we always had a little like portable barbecue or stove there. And if they wanted to cook them fresh from the sea, we'd fire that up. And it was literally out of the water and in the pan within 3 minutes. And you don't get any fresher than that. And it does taste a lot different. A lot different. What did fish smell like before women went swimming? Sapper.
And you call me bad? Come on. Can't be one rule for me and another rule for everyone else.
Well, sorry, guys. There is, I'd say an old wives' tale. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. They always used to say that river fishing and lake fishing, females always seem to do better. And I was told, rightly or wrongly, I've never even checked into it. It was something to do with the pheromones or something that comes from the skin of the women where they're handling the bait that seems to attract the fish. Well, I've never took a woman fishing and expected her to carry me bait in her knickers or anything to find out if it's true.
Cannibals in.
Yeah. To me, it just looks like a squid usually, but that's besides the point. We won't go to that level. But Heather does all right at sea fishing, and it can't be anything like that because I do all the baiting for her.
You get to teach me how to fish this year.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
I'll bring some of the smaller rods.
Yeah, I was going to say, have the kids got any spare ones?
Just pinch them off the gnomes in the garden, Roger. They'll be all right for a few days.
Eat me, asshat.
The thing is, you'll find out, and Heather found out as well, if you got a rod that's too big and heavy. This is going to sound fucking disgusting again.
Yeah, I've the same problem.
If you've got a rod that's too long and you get it wrong, it can drag you off the wall when you're casting.
Oh, well, I'm going to need fucking water wings as well. Then.
That's right. We'll tie a rope around your waist and tie you to the railings like I do the drop net. You won't go very far.
Excellent. I know I could always rely on you, Pops. Thank you very much. Keep me safe. Love you.
We could put concrete in your boots.
Or you could put what in my boots, Daniel?
Put concrete in your boots. So
you are going. I am going to fucking imac your head.
No. I mean, number one. stop you from being pulled into the water. But if you are pulled into the water, at least it'll be quick.
I am going to pluck every single one of those fucking hairs out of your bastard head.
One by one.
One by one.
Yes,
I can try it and see what
one
happens.
by fucking one.
Well, we're not that far from the RNLI station where we fish, and they don't bother off going all the way round to the channel from there. They are usually on duty. But
I don't
yeah,
swim that well, to be honest.
it's not too bad. There is a bit of a tidal race, but it's not the water that's going to do you in there. It's the 10-meter drop to it down a stone wall. That's going to do the damage.
And the concrete boots that drag you down.
Well, they did say along the wall it is
Daniel.
shallow enough to stand up and wait for the tide to go out, but I'm not going to go down there and prove the point because I've seen how far up the fucking wall the water comes, and I don't want to stand down there, believe me.
It's the silt and the mud down there.
Yeah, it's not clear water. That's the thing. It's muddy, silty water. Whereas down in Cornwall, it's most days it's like gin clear. You know, you can see the bottom. There, you can't. But it's a popular spot. It's safe to fish. It's a bit noisy during the day because you've got the summer fairground that's over the field behind you. But they shut. I think it's 6 o'clock in it. They shut down in the evenings.
When we go, it's not open. They open during the like 8 weeks for the summer holidays.
The summer season. Jenny, good afternoon, darling. Hope you had a
Hello,
good
Jenny.
day. Deep water skiing boots. That's called
Stop giving him ideas. He doesn't need any encouragement.
I wouldn't be able to dive now. I've done it once, and I just couldn't get on with it. I used to panic. We used to go snorkeling around the rocks down in Cornwall for lobsters and spear fishing for bass and that, but I can't hold my breath long enough now.
There's only one kind of diving I do, and I've not done that for 3 years.
Yeah, and you don't need water to do that. A comfortable bed is better.
I've got to admit, I do like a bit of diving as well. You kind of beat it.
Well, no, especially on Valentine's night. But when you're not feeling very well and you're both full of flu, you think, no, we're not going to bother. It's, couldn't breathe without getting in any tight crevices, shall I say.
Did you and
sorry.
Did you and Heather get each other anything for Valentine's Day?
We never do. All we need is the love between each other, and we give each other that.
Oh, I got a fork. I got a fork. All right, off my female best friend. She's kind of my wife, and it says I forking. Yeah, it says I forking love you.
Oh.
Which I thought was really cute. But I bought her a bunch of flowers.
Consider that Harry Potter thing I brought you. Part Christmas, part birthday, and part Valentine's.
For the next 10 years.
Well, for about the last 5 years, we saved the cards that we bought 5 years ago, and we used to just bring them out once a year and give each other them, but I couldn't find them this year. Oh, I did take you out for dinner once, didn't I? Or was that your birthday?
That was my birthday.
Your birthday. Oh, that's coming up soon as well, isn't it?
Yeah, your birthday, Roger,
yes.
is the day before a very special day for men. Now, women Valentine's Day tends to be more for the women, doesn't it? You know, the chocolates and the flowers and the teddy bears and all the romance. Well, March the 14th is for blokes. It's steak and blowjob day.
Steak and blowjob day.
Oh yes.
And that's the day. Oh my God! Now things are going to really descend.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Hiya.
Oh God.
What's going on, lovelies?
Hello, Dave.
Hello. Hello. So
Everybody
pleased,
say hello to Dave.
I got my new eyes, my new face. See?
Hello,
Okay.
Dave.
It's a lovely smile.
Yeah.
You're very handsome, Dave. You're very
Oh, thank you
handsome.
very much. Yeah,
Nice.
I've been on the bio. Yeah,
Fuck's sake,
Oh,
leaf
good
it.
God.
Mate.
yeah. We'll take a leaf out of my book, innit? You know, get it.
Oh, good God.
That was from a computer engineer. He said, "You know, you want to say this and this," and I was like, "Oh my God, that's fucking awful." All right, I'll do that. So what have I missed? What are you doing?
So,
You're fucking loads
Dave
there,
can't
Dan.
follow
You cheeky old
directions
monster, ain't you? Hey, look at that
Again.
look at that fucking hair there. Beautiful. Go on, son. It's in there. Yes.
He won't
Say what?
fucking have any when I get my fucking hands on him.
Oh,
What?
that's not very nice, is it? Hmm?
Well, he's not very fucking nice.
He's worked very hard for that. It's
He
beautiful.
might put up with a lot of fucking shit.
I say he's like, yes. So what I'm thinking, right, is once he's got the full rug, he'll have a shave and he'll go back to looking about 30 again. Isn't that right?
Fuck
I
off.
tell you what, if you feel bad, I can lend you some wrinkles from Rev. He got fucking hundreds of the cunts.
talking of which, it looks like you need to go to the barbers there, Dave. You've got branching out on one side.
Hey, don't fucking start. Right? Yeah. Look, I base Welshman offered to carve me in half, and he meant that nicely, apparently. But no, I'm not having that. But I am a bit shaggy, you know. So I don't know. What Rev ain't got a fucking clue. He's just thinking of putting me in a bigger plot and just leaving me to it. But I'm taking up the window. Never mind.
You do need a bit of a trim, Dave. Have a word.
Have you ever been told that?
No.
Yeah. I can see how this is going to go tonight. Yeah.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're
You
under
start-
no fucking illusions.
No.
You can see all the leaves starting to shake when he hears a chainsaw in the area.
We've got a petrol-driven machine. Yeah. There you go. Right. Well, I got to go off and find some funny stories, but I just thought I'd see if my face worked. So you're.
Yeah, the face works. On them teeth, man. They look like they've been polished.
Yeah.
Have you been to Turkey recently?
I got a discount. I went over there with some condemned railings and came back with a beautiful facial. It's lovely. 15 for a blowjob will get you most things in Turkey, won't it? You know what I mean? Give it rather than get it, but whatever.
Are you guest in the Irish Spud and that tonight again?
I assume the Fenian spud eating twat will show up. We've got. Hang on, I got to check. Hope he's not fucking watching this. Thanks to the porn star. He's going to get a large portion of that. Right? And we got Luke Uncaged coming on, and if he gets on the pop, well, the channel should be written off by about 9. So we'll have an early night. That'd be good. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
might-
we thought that last week. We didn't even think it was going to go on for a friggin' hour before the channel was going to be torn down. I think we did all right.
Yeah.
I'm
Nobody got arrested.
for a while, Dave. So I might get on the pop myself tonight.
You get smashed right up and come on in. You know what I mean? Wait until you're absolutely munted half hanging out your ass, and that's the time to pop on. That's when the magic happens.
I'm just wondering
Got
whether
that
my
fucking
magic
shit straight away. What's that? What are you thinking there? Hang on a minute. I've just had a fly go past the camera. If Rev sees this, you're fucking mental. Get back here, you twat.
Sticky tongue out. It's food for you.
What do you think? I'm a Venus fucking flytrap woman.
You could identify as one.
I'm a Joe Dacky. I'm not a fucking flytrap, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, last week you were Indian and changed to Welsh.
What are you doing for the rest of the summer?
Finder.
Do you fancy popping round? You'll be like beyond Borg with that fucker around me, I'll tell you. Oh dear. He's not going to be happy.
Catch tea quick enough.
Hopefully the fucker will get his car and he can go out a bit and he won't notice the fucking flies everywhere. Oh well.
There's a link there if anybody wants to go over and sub to Dave. There is a link as well in the description under this live thing here. Yeah, there's links under
How many subs did you get on your first night? 500 or something?
We got a few, yeah. So far, we're up to
Well,
about. Hang on, we could be up to 1,500 now.
You are 1.51.
Fucking what?
Well done.
Oh,
And I don't even mind being upstaged by a plant.
Red does. I'm getting more growth than that cunt ever did. Fuck the plant. Did it? Oh, Rev, how long you been doing this for? You fucking waster. Anyway.
You'll probably get a wife before he will as well.
Well, fucking anybody would. You know what I mean? He couldn't bother the skin off a rice pudding, that cunt. Yeah.
Dan's single. Dan will have you.
Will he? Hey?
Yeah.
Look at me,
Probably
Dan.
would.
We can be good.
Yay!
I'll stroke your hair, you stroke my leaves. Come here, sausage. Mwah. See? Mm. He's quite a pretty boy, isn't he? I like him. Anyway.
How's
He's
he
gone
taking
red.
it?
He's gone red. Yeah, got him. Yeah, you fucker.
Well, there's one more sub for you, Dave. Gary
Thank
Hart.
you. All subs are welcome, is it? Hmm?
You're Welsh, boyo, not
Oh,
Indian.
Yeah. Welsh, my lovely. Mm. Well, yeah, the Indian didn't work very well, did it? For about 20 minutes.
Dave would choke you. Well, actually, we could set that up as a WWE fight, Sapper, because Dan's got a Venus flytrap.
No, Dan
Ooh,
did.
Smackdown.
This fly chap.
Do you know,
You
if
killed
I
it.
dated a plant like Dan dates women, I'd fucking literally date a Triffid. All right? So, I'm not taking any dating advice off you or that fucking Rev. I keep hanging out the window in the summer and shouting obscenities at things walking past. Hopefully I'll pull.
Yeah, and then blame it on the Rev.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
I'm only a plant in the window. It's him.
Are you really? I'm a plant. It's not me saying that. It's that fucking idiot I live with.
Yeah, Grumpy Sapper, call it Seymour. Feed me now.
Yeah.
What was that? Little Shop of Horrors, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's it.
See, I can remember shit like that. Oh, unbelievable.
I'm like that. I can remember song lyrics from 1990, but I can't remember why I walked into a bloody room.
I used to get people come up to, actually, no, that wasn't me. Then move on. Anyway, this is going to get hard tonight. Well, that isn't, but anyway, the nights are
He's-
drawing out, aren't they? Yeah.
Weather's lush. Weather's beautiful today.
So
He's
much-
actually been on the baby bio, Grumpy.
Smashed it right up. Mm. Yes. Been throwing me soil around and everything. Right, well, look, I'm gonna jump off and prepare. I'm gonna wash my leaves, do my best, and
Trim yourself up. a little bit.
yeah, I gotta look my best for tonight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, handsome fucker.
Well, thanks for popping on, and yeah, if you see Rev, you haven't seen me, right? Mm? Cheers.
All right,
Gotcha.
mate. Your secret is safe with us. I knew that was going to come. I knew that was going to happen.
Oh dear Lord. Tonight is going to be fucking hilarious.
It's going to be a real problem for me tonight because it cracks me up, and with my breathing, I'm going to be on the floor gasping. I guarantee it.
Well, let us know if you end up fucking passing out or you need an ambulance or something.
No, I've got a big lorry battery out here. I'm going to put a couple of wires on it and show Heather how to.
Keep it hooked up to your nipples and leave the end off the battery.
They don't earth out.
Can I try that with you, Dan?
Rev, it's saying device not connected, mate.
Do not threaten me with a good time, Holly.
What about a taser? Can I
Oh,
come at you with a taser?
only if you don't fire it, but you close range where you touch it and you do it on your balls.
I've never used a taser. Why are you talking at me like I've used a fucking taser?
Don't fucking threaten to use one then.
Well, I can learn. Jesus H. Christ.
The stream's all right this end, iBox.
Yeah, everything's fine this end.
Well, that was Rev trying to get in then. So if him and Dave have had the computer expert round, there's something gone tits up because his device and microphone wasn't connected.
No, don't forget we haven't seen Dave.
No,
Yeah, we are.
no, we win 2 ticks. No worries, Gary. I'm surprised I'm still going here at the moment.
You're doing well. I'll give you that. You're doing well.
Well, I didn't really know how long I was going to be able to keep going, but at the moment I'm fine.
Oh, hello,
There
Rev.
he is. Hello, Simon.
How you doing?
Gary.
What?
Loser! Bravo!
Yeah, so let's try that. Yes, so you can see everything's going to go smooth. Go roll, right?
Picnic, mate. Picnic. Problem in chair, not in computer.
Well, here's the thing. I've now got Windows 10 across everything.
Excellent.
And it got rid of the gaming and a load of other stuff at the moment. So it's literally stripped right back. So I'm not going to do it tonight because I need that for tonight. But this one, yeah, I might test it tomorrow night. When it crashes, I'll just go, but we'll know it's something else then.
Go and find a techie and give him a kick.
It's one of the things. Isn't
The
it?
thing- The thing is, though, the issue itself could just be Windows 11.
That's what I'm hoping, because after that, it's going to
Yeah.
be expensive. And also, there could be a lot of other things that were on there, because it had apparently written there was shitloads on there. So stripping that all out and just putting the basics, who knows, might work, might not. I don't know.
Well,
You won't
You
know
can
until
but
you
try.
try.
No.
You know, it's just like I said earlier, there's that many bloody issues with Windows 11 and the fixes they're sending out just don't cut it. It ain't working. There was one they sent out for one of the issues. They sent out some software downloads and the computers wouldn't even accept it.
Fucking it.
actually, to be fair, I had one come down a couple of weeks ago. My computer just kept dying, like literally just switching itself off whilst it was downloading. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. And it took several attempts for it to actually take to the computer, which just baffles me.
All of this.
Well, I
baffles me.
finally sussed out what my issues were originally. It was I was trying to get the laptop to do too much and it just couldn't do it. And it just to say, fuck you, I'm off.
Picnic.
What I found, things like if you got Discord, it'll always be running in the background. So
Yeah.
literally, if you're going to do a live stream, make sure you go into that little arrow thing at the bottom there, whatever that is. I have no idea. When it pops up, quit Discord and quit anything else that's using loads, because Discord uses loads. So
Well,
It's like it's
on
used
this
up
one,
for
My
me.
Discord runs.
I
My
mean-
Discord runs in the background, and I've also got torrents downloading in the background when I do mine. So mine's getting hammered. Mine generally works okay.
well,
I think
at the
it's just
moment,
listen.
I've got YouTube stream running, StreamYard running. I've got another YouTube open there because I keep an eye on what's going there. I've got Discord open there. The only one I've shut down because it annoys me and I keep trying to answer things is Facebook. But normally, if I didn't have the second YouTube open, I'd have Facebook open on there. I'd have the 4 things on the screen.
yeah, I'm running 2 computers, but that one's running the live stream.
Well, there you
with
go.
2 things on it.
And that's all from the one desktop thing tower that I've got down under the desk here. And
Those screens
nothing-
look bigger than they were. Those screens look fucking massive for me.
well, I'm sat very, very close to them, mate. Literally on less than an arm's length from them because I've got the wall there. I can't go back any further.
Yeah, no, they just look really big, which is good. It's good if you've got big screens. I've got this. Well, I've got 332 inches.
Yeah, I think these 2.
I don't even know what size these fucking things are.
I can't remember what these ones were. Were they 24s?
24, 26.
I think they're
No.
22 or 24, I think.
Yeah, 24, I think. Yeah, I did have one 24 widescreen and another square little bugger by the side of it, which was really odd because nothing moved from one to the other and was the same. Like with these, everything is the same size no matter where I put it. So I've been told that quietly as well in one ear now and again. But there you go. That's a different story again, isn't it? How you guys can do. Well, it's not multitasking, Gary. The computer's doing it for me.
I can't. Everybody knows that. Just, the keys.
Cross our fingers and hope most of the time.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, that's what I said. The less, I mean, my keyboard, I haven't even got a full size keyboard because I can't cope with a full size one.
I've got two.
What the fuck?
But you're a greedy fuck.
I've got a computer next to me as well, haven't I? As well as the one that was here.
Video and chat. Wind it forward. You've probably gone out and come in further back down the stream, Lee. Oh, I've got an itchy tit now.
Oh, look, it's asking me, do I want to join the chat? I'm already in the video. Oh,
If you're on StreamYard, it'll ask you to log in through StreamYard to access the chat so you can comment.
Oh, I ain't fucking about with that now.
I don't bother with that.
Yeah.
I've never had anything like that come up, to be honest.
So have you got any funny stories? I mean, like fucking bonkers shit. If you got any, send it over to me.
Well, that's why I was looking through the other YouTube.
Yeah. I think we should expose some of the worst stories of things that people have done. Awkward moments, that kind of stuff.
Ooh, I did find one the other day. Was it the other day?
You fancy a good laugh at the police? I put a couple of shorts today.
Yeah, that one of the one walking in through matey's front door. I'd have fucking shoved her straight down them steps and slammed the door in her fucking face.
Allegedly. Yeah.
You know?
There's a short coming out in, I think it's half an hour, and I think it's the Rastafarian. I think it's the Rastafarian one. Some black dude in, I believe it's in London. I might be wrong, but some Rasta geezer. There's two cops already on the floor. One of them's holding his head like that on the floor, won't get up, and there's another one laying on their side on the floor, like all fucking mashed up. And there's like another three trying to get this fucking Rasta down on the floor, and he's just fucking dragging him around. It's funny as fuck.
I like that one. It's quite an old one. The Yank high school kiddie. The copper went at him and he just grabbed him and fucking picked him up and body slammed the bastard. I caught that.
Thing is, we're getting weak police that can't move. They're fatter than me. Some of them, they've had to order XXXL fucking kit, or is it more than that? Isn't it? I mean, so
maybe that's why that other one sold his trousers on fucking eBay.
What, they're now being used as some sort of fucking sheet into, I don't know, tie down a load on a cross-channel fucking ship or something. I don't know. But
if you look at them here now, though, they've got to be in a pack before they do anything. They can't work in singles or twos. It's got to be a complete gang of them just to, hassle somebody with a bloody camera, even.
Yeah. Considering they're so fucking unfunded and so little police on the fucking streets that they can afford to have 7 coppers turn up at a door because somebody's misgendered somebody.
Yeah, that's appropriate use of police force and time, isn't it?
But it's like I said about that one, that they're sending these PCSOs into schools and full-time officers to talk to the kids. Well, what is the point? Because they don't know the fucking law themselves. I think, like I said earlier, they're sending them into the schools to literally show them that you will obey anything we say.
It makes it easier for them to groom them rather than waiting for them to do something wrong and go around their house to have a word with them and groom them. They do it at the school these days.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to come around
on the
back
parents.
in I can remember one turning up and he started going on about something or other. And we just laughed him out. He was going on about laws of the road, this, that, and the other. I said, well, we don't ride on the road. We ride dirt bikes. I said, and you've never fucking caught us yet. So what's going wrong? But no, they're a waste of space.
You see them go through towns and cities on these crosses, and the police just don't even bother with them. I think they've got instructions not to chase them because in case there's a bad outcome, they don't want the public turning on them.
They've actually got permission in certain areas now to ram the bikes and mopeds, especially the Met.
Good. Horrible little cunts. I mean, I don't like the police, but I don't like the little cunts that are out there robbing phones, knifing people, stealing shit. I mean, what could go wrong, right?
Here's one. Go and have a look at the shorts on my channel. The last one I put up. Police leave with their curly tails between their legs. You watch how the police react to a group of, well, most of them are black by the looks of the video, and they are kicking the shit out of the police van, swinging their arms at the old Bill, calling the old Bill out, and the old Bill get in their van and fucking.
I've seen that one. They pedal their ass off, don't they? Embarrassing. Yeah. Remember the old days, like the 70s, when they were all rugby playing lunatics? They'd have just gone out and filled them all in.
But we've got one round here now, which we used to have years ago back home. There's a farmer. He started up a dirt track. And what he does, he opens it up to the public. You can pay a certain amount, take your own bike in. You can hire bikes in there. And around that area, I can't remember which area it is now. It's around Birmingham somewhere. They reckon the actual kids that are riding or were riding on the roads illegally and that are now turning up there and riding on the dirt, where the only person they can hurt is themselves. They split them into groups, like if they have an hour of the experts, then an hour of beginners. They'll have an hour of the young kids on their little, mini quads and mini bikes, all totally supervised. And they had those years ago, and they shut them all down. The councils went round and shut them down. And within a month or so of them all being shut down, the kids were out riding them on the roads, riding across the middle of the farmers' fields. Give them somewhere to go. They'll go there. If they can ride there,
exactly.
They'll go there.
Kids are going to do it anyway. You may as well give them an area they can do it safely and teach them how to do it safely as well.
And that would be the perfect place. The kids wouldn't like it, the police going in there, but they could go in there, and as you say, they could teach them about the bikes, bike craft, riding bikes, and they're more likely to listen in that scenario. Afternoon, Stuart. Welcome, mate.
Well, I'm going to jump off and get some sleep because I've been up early and not got any because I've been watching Rike all day long fix this thing. So, yeah, there it is.
No worries, mate. Nice of you to drop in. As always, good to see you.
He said, say hello, it's PCP. And I said, PCP. Don't let me get drunk and say that wrong because it'll sound like something else. So,
angel dust.
Yeah, a little bit.
Say that, angel dust.
A little bit. So anyway, I've got to say thank you later on. But anyway, I'll catch you all in a bit, all right?
All right,
bye.
Bye.
Laters. Always nice to see the Rev. It took 20 of them for Tommy Roberts. Yes, Paul, and this is the thing. They didn't need to arrest Tommy. They didn't have, I don't particularly like the guy. I like what he stands for. I just don't particularly like the guy. It's two separate things. With his ideas, I'm behind him. But there was no need to arrest him. That was literally a political statement, what they did then.
Of course it was.
Nothing to do with the law. And this is why they won't go against these pro-Palestinians at their protests, because there's too fucking many of them and they're frightened of the fuckers turning on them. So they'd rather go for the minority, which is us lot standing there. You lot are a load of fucking racists. Don't call us racist. And that's why they leave them alone. They're frightened of them. They're absolutely frightened of them.
Everybody's scared of being called a racist or, anything like that. It's like, oh, fuck off. Right and wrong doesn't fucking change. And what they're doing is fucking wrong.
You notice
that
it's what Tommy says. Show me where I've been racist.
Yeah.
And nobody ever can come up with an answer. It's the same as me. I get called racist because of some of my videos. It's not about that. It's about the facts. The facts are potentially that there are Muslims in the video causing problems, or they're black people, or there are white people, whatever. But because nobody says anything about, oh, why are you picking on white people? And the majority of my videos are about white people. You know what I mean? When I bring up the fact that potentially that a black person, African, Muslim, or whatever, Asian, has done something wrong, and I point that out, people go, "Oh, what did you have to point that out for?" Well,
because as far as they know, racism goes one way, and it doesn't. Yeah. It goes both ways, but they don't understand that, and they won't enforce that.
No,
that's the bit that pisses me off. That they'll enforce racism one way, but not when it's coming back the other way. Now, that is not unbiased level policing. We know that.
No,
of course not.
Bleach Demon, good evening now, isn't it? 20 to 6.
It's not meant to be unbiased policing anyway. We should all have come to realise that by now.
Without fear or favour is the actual words, isn't it?
I have no fucking clue.
Equality, respect, treating everybody with equality and respect without fear or favour. That used to be the words, I believe, without fear or favour. It's not anymore.
That's such a bullshit, that is.
I've yet to see it.
Same.
I mean, even back in the day when I was a real evil little bastard of a youth, there was discrimination then. You could go out and commit a minor crime or something like that, but if you were riding a motorbike, you were automatically the criminal. You were criminalised for riding a motorcycle, basically.
It's a stereotype, isn't it?
Yeah.
You were a hooligan.
Same with the punks. As soon as punk rock became popular, punks are all bad. They're the bad guys.
Hooligan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of them were reasonable guys, you know.
This will turn up to an incident these days with already in their head have made a decision.
Yeah, it's perceived.
I mean, they used to turn up two coppers. If there was two people arguing, if there was a fight or whatever, two coppers would turn up. You'd take each to the side. One cop would talk to one person, another cop would talk to the other. Then the coppers would talk together and say, "Well, this is the stories that they've got. Which one sounds more plausible?"
Yeah.
Right, and that's the only way they could do it at that point. They'd have to say which one sounds more plausible, and then somebody would have to get arrested and then further investigated, right? Or they both get let on their way. These days, they turn up to an incident with preconceived idea of what they're going to do and who they're going to target,
and they're aggressive right from the get-go.
Uh-huh.
They never used to be that aggressive. They could do if they wanted to, but they were never that aggressive right from the get-go. And that's the big difference now. I mean, there was a video the other day, I don't know how long it's been up, about that copper shoving that little 15-year-old lad around outside the football ground, getting in his face. And
the one where he hit him around the head with his truncheon?
No, this was another one. That one was that copper got the sack, didn't he? He split his head wide open.
He killed himself, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. No, this is a new one where the copper was shoving him and getting in his face and really having a go at him. And the lad was only about 15 or something. He was there with his father at a bloody football match.
He's a fucking child.
You know,
he's not even like a young adult. He is a child in the eyes of the law.
That was when it changed, Grumpy Sapper. Exactly, mate. When they changed it around with the way the police work, that they had to get a quota of arrests. Yep. That was when the police turned. That should never have been put in place. The police were there originally as a deterrent, and they're not anymore.
No, they're a business.
Yeah, we've got no respect for them now because they don't give us any. You know, I can remember into my early teens where you'd actually go up and say good morning to a copper if he walked past you. And he would say good morning very politely back. And then after about 4 or 5 years, you'd walk past you and say, "What the fuck are you looking at?" You know what I mean? I did it myself.
Right, guys, I'm gonna disappear because I need to go to the toilet and I need to get up the shop. So I'm gonna disappear for a bit. If you're still on when I come back, then I'll jump back on. If not, then I'll probably see you on Dave's later.
Oh yes,
Dockily,
but
dockily.
even if I got to shut mine down to save me throat for that one, I will be there.
All right, then, folks.
All right,
See you
buddy.
in the chat, Rog, Heather, Lost Souls. I'll catch you all later.
See you later, boss.
All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, buddy. Yeah, you know, this is what I like. You know, we've got 2 big YouTubers there that have dropped in. Well, 3 now with Dave, because he's a lot bigger than me.
YouTube famous.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've got 30 odd people watching, yet they take the time to drop in, and I like that. You know, it's I'm just trying to see what's in a lot of the chat. I've been leaving the guys like Dan rocking the Action Man fuzz. Yeah, Bleach Demon, we did it wasn't Action Man was the first description, but that one did come up. Right, I've just got to shut the window because I'm actually feeling a bit chilly now. And it looks like it's about to piss down with rain out there again. Oh, yeah, they're going on about that Russian that died in the penal colony. So I'm just reading some headlines that are coming up. 16-year-old stabbed to death in Bristol has been formally identified. But has been identified, but a formal identification has yet to take place. Biden slagging off Putin for the death of Alexei Navalny. No, I can't fucking read that. Navalny, is it? But Putin says they have a fair election over there now. How can they when all he does is kill off his fucking opposition all the time?
Yeah. I'd rather Putin than our fucking politicians.
All right, Loafer. You know, that interview with Tucker Carlson with him, everybody's like, oh, Putin's a good guy. Putin's a good guy. I mean, look back at what he's done to their fucking country. Yes, he did improve a lot of things in the beginning, but he was still oppressive. It was still a communist regime. They were still running under communist rules. Trojan Scar, good afternoon, mate. Or pre-evening, I will say, at 10 to 6.
It's evening now. It's post 5 o'clock.
Pre-evening. Oh, do you know what? I think I pulled a muscle where I've been coughing so hard the last few days.
You probably have.
I did. Last night was real painful to cough. As soon as I laid in bed, if I was laid on my back, I was fine for about 10 minutes. But as soon as I stirred or rolled over to one side or the other, that just set me off. State-sanctioned murder. Yes, Jason. And the thing is, he just denies it and people don't question it. Like the, was it the Novichok poisoning or whatever in Salisbury? 2 Russian Secret Service on holiday, allegedly, over here. People get poisoned. They go home. Oh, no, it wasn't them. They weren't working for us. It was bloody obvious they were. You don't go out and do something like that off your own back. They were under orders. And Russia's always been that way. We know we can't rely on any information or stories that come from there. Same with the Ukraine. You can't believe a fucking word that comes from there. I mean, they're all pissed off because they're not getting the support that they were. Now it's all on Israel and Palestine.
The thing is, though, we can't. This is the thing. We can't trust the media. Full stop.
No, even our media, we can't.
No. So when they're saying that Russia is bad, it's probably the complete opposite, and Russia is good.
Yeah, I mean, you've only got to look at the suppression on the Russian internet and that over there. It's unbelievable. Ireland's going the same way. And at the moment, I mean, this is an issue I've got with Facebook, which some of you know about. They've got the new online safety bill now. That is law here.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not using it. They're not using it for what it's supposed to be for.
No, of course they won't. They're never going to use laws for what they're supposed to do. The laws are only there to suppress us.
Yeah, exactly. It's comply or we take you down. Simple.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, when you look at how many laws there actually are, you're constantly running the risk of breaking the law because we don't know what the fucking law is.
No, they don't know
You know.
themselves. They make the laws, but they don't know themselves. They don't know how to implement them. Literally, what Stuart B says there, whatever the media say, think the opposite. Yes, that is more or less.
Exactly. And do you know what? This is why I changed from being vegan, because I was vegan about 5 years ago. And once it started being pushed, I was like, why is this being pushed?
Yeah.
So I stopped being vegan for that fucking
I mean,
reason. It's like, no, they're telling me to be vegan, so I need to be the opposite.
I've never had a problem with gays, homosexuals, even trans. You know, they led their life, I led mine. But as soon as they started pushing it in my fucking face, I'm not having this.
No.
And it's not the old ones. It's not the original ones from years ago that were gay and what have you back then. It's this new breed of them, this new generation of them. They're the problem. They want everything given to them on a plate. We must bow to what they want to do. Well, they can go fuck themselves. Well,
because that's how they've been. That's how they've been brought up. Though, when you think about it, everything comes into it. So, not being able to discipline your kids physically, that comes into it. Not being able to shout at your kids, that comes into it. So you raise this society of self-entitled, horrible little crotch goblins that just need a chair to the face. Because they're like, oh, well, you can't touch me because that's the reason I want this. And mummy, and I'm going to stamp my feet until I get it. And it's just like, fuck off.
And it's
you've got
one little word they've never been told.
No.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
If someone said no to me in my youth and I took no notice of it, I got either a stick or a belt round my ass. And I learned.
Yeah.
I learned what was right and wrong. And these little bastards don't. You know?
I mean, I get it that there are kids out there that have been physically abused, but there is a fucking line between abuse and discipline.
Yeah. There are parents that used to beat their kids senseless, and I understand that shouldn't happen. But giving a kid a good slap around the ass or around the leg or even the odd slap around the back of the head, look, you're being a dick. It never done any of us, my generation, any harm.
No.
You know, I swear it's these elite twats that are in power. They've never been told the word no because they've always lived with a silver spoon in their gob or up their ass.
Yeah, all of them are so out of touch. I mean, even down to finances. They haven't got a fucking clue what it's like to live on such little fucking money, working your ass off and having nothing to fucking show for it at the end of it.
Well, I can remember. I mean, I never really had pocket money. From the age of 12, I went out to earn my money at weekends. And my father made me work with him in the landscaping business and that. He said, son, nobody's going to give you for fuck all. If you want something, you've got to go out and earn the money and buy it yourself.
Yeah.
And these little shits nowadays think they're so entitled. Oh, mummy, I need a new phone. And what's a new phone now? That $2,000?
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me. I used to get a shilling a week or $2 a week if I was lucky, which is equal to what, 10, 20 pence now? That's what we used to get given a week.
Yeah, when my lad lived at home when he was at school, and he wanted a new phone, and we sat down and we came up with an agreement that I would pay for a contract phone for him, but there was a list of jobs that he would do every single day without fail
He
to
had to earn.
earn. Yeah, and by God, did he fucking do it as well? He was an absolute godsend. You know, and if he wanted extra money, he'd do extra jobs.
Yeah. I mean, you look at these kids now riding around on these electric bikes. How the fuck does a 15-year-old get $5,000 to buy a frigging bike?
God
The parents
knows.
have got to be buying it for him, or he's got to be selling drugs. One of the two. That's the only way they'd get it, or they're stealing them. I mean, I
Yeah.
never had a new bike until I was, probably 17. And I bought that myself, and it was only about 80 quid back then, and that was top of the range. Up until then, any bike I had came from the local council tip and had to be built.
Yeah.
You know, my brother got a brand new one, my sister did, but no, mine came from the tip.
Well, we know why.
And I'll tell you, yeah, I used to break them regular, but it was easy to go and replace them, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Just wait till they dumped on I think it was a Thursday. You went up there and you was watching them coming out the wagons, right? There's a frame in that pile there. We know where to get that weekend, you know.
Brilliant.
But that's what it was like back then. You know, we lived in hand-me-downs.
Yep.
You know,
My mum used to make a lot of our clothes when we were younger.
if you ripped a shirt or a pair of jeans, it wasn't go to the shop and spend 50 quid on a new one. They got sewn up and you had to wear them because that was all you had.
Yeah. Yeah, they fucking did.
Yeah. I mean, I can remember going to the school one day and they said, "Oh, you haven't got the school jumper." I said, "No, because we can't afford one." And they went into this storeroom and bought one out for me that had been left at the school. It was like spare clothing.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a uniform, they'd give you bits and pieces. And at the time, my mum and dad couldn't afford a new jumper for me.
No.
Yet we got by. You know, we didn't bitch or moan about it. I mean, not me in particular anyway, because I fucking hate wearing uniforms. But
Same. Absolutely hated it.
But I think the only thing I did have, and they were second hand as well, back in the day, was a pair of DM boots.
Ooh, I love the DM.
And of course, they had to be ox blood. You know.
Yep.
But even that, we used to share tins of polish because we couldn't afford to go and buy a new tin.
Oh, bless you.
It was a different era. It really was. And if the kids had to do what we had to do back then to get what they wanted, that they wouldn't have nothing. They wouldn't have nothing.
But
No, they wouldn't. They'd all be running around fucking naked.
Yeah.
But as I've said to Donna, the price she pays for things now for the kids is what I would have been paying. So if she pays £5 for something now, it would have cost me £5 back in the day. But that was more like 50 quid back in the day. We've got so many things now coming in cheap from abroad. It's increased the standard of living, but compared to back then, but it's crippled the country.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, school kids going to school. We used to get told, you've got to have a pen, not a biro. You had to have an ink pen. You had to have a pencil. You had to have a ruler and a pencil sharpener and a bottle of ink. That was it. None of the, you know, can you imagine it? You've got to have a tablet. You've got to have a computer. You've got to have a mobile phone. You've got to have this. You've got to have the other. I mean, do school kids actually still write things down now? Or is it all
Probably
electronic?
not.
You know, the art of writing, it's gone out the window.
Yeah. Do you know what? They shouldn't have stopped teaching cursive.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen kids now, it's emojis. That's the new language is emojis.
Yeah.
They don't use full words for anything.
Do you know what? One thing I'm struggling with lately. Everything is being what's the term where you take the first letter of each word? Like
Oh,
what the fuck is WTF?
yeah,
Well, people are doing that for fucking everything, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Stuart, you were still using slate and chalk, mate. I was still using a hammer and a chisel on the fucking rocks.
Yes, he was.
We had our own language, and it was called hieroglyphics.
Oh, nice. Cave drawings. Hello?
Ollie?
Hello?
Acronym.
Acronym.
Acronym. That's the word. Everything's being shortened, and I don't just mean for things like what the fuck or anything. It's general day-to-day things, and I'm just there going, oh God, what the fuck does that mean? Oh, I don't know.
I remember the first time I ever heard someone say OMG. That's a car, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean, what the
Yeah.
hell?
But they're destroying the English language. And the problem is when you are talking to somebody like that, you're having to dumb yourself down so that they will understand you because you're speaking proper English and they don't fucking get it.
I don't listen to them. If they start on talking to me like that, I say, unless you're going to use actual words, fuck off. Don't talk to me.
It was all
And it always
WWF's fault. One of the first ones was WWF, the wrestling.
Oh, yeah, World Wrestling Federation, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Something
they were
like
one
that.
of the first. And after that, it's like, oh no, we'll call it this, we'll abbreviate it. Everybody knows what it is. And it's like there's so many of them and they're so similar.
Look at me last year. Now, I do look through TV listings, literally, if there's any interesting documentaries and stuff like that I want to watch. And I kept seeing this thing pops up. What was it? MOD'd. And I'm like, well, that's a test for a car. And this ain't so long back, and all of a sudden, no, it stands for Match of the Day.
Ministry of Defence.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ministry of Defence it used to be used for, but now it's Match of the Day. MOD.
They're duplicating now. That becomes the problem. That they're abbreviating similar sentences and coming up with the same three letters. And it's like, are you talking Doctor Who, the WHO, the who is it? Because all you see is three letters, and what? I mean, what are they actually talking about?
WWF always meant the World Wildlife Federation.
Yeah.
Nothing
that's why they
with
changed it to that's why they changed it to WWE.
Yeah.
But people are taking like three words out of a sentence, an actual sentence. It's not, they're not doing it as like naming something. And I'm just like, oh Jesus Christ, will you learn to fucking talk properly and speak properly? And
I'll tell you what, I can tell you now, if you can tell me when the first abbreviation was was used, and people now still don't know what it means.
Okay.
Nope.
Come on.
And I still don't know what it means.
What?
Thunderbirds, FAB.
I don't think it was anything. I don't think it ever was.
It never actually had a meaning, but they used it in every episode. Yes, Mr. Tracy, FAB.
Thunderbirds are brilliant.
Thunderbirds with an F.
Yeah, Thunderbirds.
Yeah, fab. Yep. And I did try and look it up, and apparently it has no actual meaning in the program, in the series.
Yeah.
Yet it was used in every single episode.
It means message received and understood.
What, FAB?
Yeah.
Yeah, fully audible broadcast.
Thunderbirds became politicians. Yeah, it's Yeah, I mean, you had fab in the 60s as well, didn't you? Everything's fab, man. You know.
Groovy.
But there again, most people were off their fucking faces back then, and they used to come out with anything. But
Oh, I wish I was alive in the 60s.
According to Jerry Anderson, that's what it meant.
there you go.
FAB is fab.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Unbelievable. I mean, you got the radio transmissions now. They still do it with code and that, but yeah, it just defeats me. It's people have lost the art of oration.
They haven't lost it. They're not being taught it.
Yeah, that's
It's
more
different.
like the scenario. Yeah, Morse code. Yes, Gary.
There are. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry, I was trying to think of something then, and it totally went out of my head. Yeah, CB language. That was another one. 10-4. What's your 20?
10-4 rubber duck.
That was just on CB, Citizen Band Radio. If you go on to sideband and 2 meter and ham, again, they've got their own language even now in a lot of things. I haven't been on one for years. We did have one out in the garage. I think we gave it to somebody. But yeah, breaker. Yeah. Anybody out there, good buddy, looking for a sound check? What's your 20 on 10-15? And it was so much to try and remember having used just normal language. Over and out. That's normal radio, Gary. The CB one used to be on down. Oh. Sounds like Heather's outside coughing. But yeah, it's a different world now to what I was brought up and educated in. And it fucking worries me. Rubber duck. That was only popular after the film.
No, that's what me and my ex Chris, we used to do a lot of voice messaging like me and Dan do. And yeah, one of the things we used to say was 10-4 rubber duck.
Yep.
Silly little things.
But to me, 10-4, it's easier just to say, yep. Because that's all it meant, wasn't it?
Well,
10-4.
yeah.
You know? Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book has been rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Yeah. And, you know, they are erasing the history.
Yep.
Stuart,
Trying to hide it.
1984. Yes, Stuart, I have my Bible. Second edition. Paperback. One of the early ones. And it's got everything inside it as well. And even that has been changed. But I will say the latest film, the one with John Hurt and Richard Burton, the latest film version of it is excellent.
I love John Hurt. Well, he loved.
Have you ever seen it, Ollie? The new
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
It is absolutely. I mean, I like the old one. That there's the message in there, but that new one is absolutely. It brings to the front more of what Orwell was talking about, and it put it in a modern day setting. That was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a more modern day setting. You know, same characters. Yeah, okay, there was nudity in it, bit of sex in it, but you'd expect that from a modern film anyway. Or most of them anyway.
Mm.
But Heather bought it me a couple of years ago. She found a copy of it on the internet. And yeah, it opened my eyes to the story behind the story because it went that bit deeper. It showed how the surveillance can be used more. And the thing is, if you've read the book, seen the original film, and seen that one, you can absolutely see 90% of what's in that story in today's society.
Mm-hmm. It's
Down
like
to
they took it.
on the face, the kids being turned against their parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there.
It's
You'll
like they took
we tell you-
1984 as a manual.
Yes, it is a life manual. If you took it that way from the beginning, that's the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
that's
I mean the powers that be. The powers that be took
Yeah.
1984 as a manual. Oh well, we'll do this.
But things are starting to turn a little bit. Like people are turning against the WEF now. They're turning against the WHO. Now we've got until, is it May or June time, I think it is, to accept this WHO treaty thing, the health
Mhm.
treaty, where they can take over the world.
Hmm.
Well, they've already planned and given us a date on when the next pandemic's going to be, if you look through everything. So that's why they want to force this thing through. And as soon as it comes through, they will say, oh, we've got another pandemic. Right, we're taking control.
Yeah, of course they will.
That's already in the pipeline. If you listen to what is coming out of these meetings and...
Well, they're prepping for the next pandemic, aren't they?
Yeah.
But we were told that a pandemic only happens every 100 years. So we shouldn't need to do any prepping again now.
And the thing
Well,
is...
this will be a miracle pandemic.
Right, I'll let you up for now, Loafer. Yeah, it's... I can't see where it's leading, but it's not going to lead to a nice place. It's not going to lead to a nice place whatsoever.
No, it's not.
George Orwell wrote the preface to a book written by James Burnham. I think it was 1947. It's called The Managerialist Revolution. Burnham essentially predicted that you would get worldwide crony capitalism developing, and the big corporations would run and own everything. The politicians would be just the front men, the propagandists for the big businesses, big global businesses. And he said you'd end up with a state of perpetual warfare as all these alliances and allegiances shifted imperceptibly behind the curtains. It essentially predicted that we'd have socialism for the ultra rich and crony capitalism, hard crony world global capitalism for most of the people living on the planet. So essentially, it predicted what would happen with the WEF and all these big global organizations, the International Monetary Fund.
Again, it makes you think. It makes you wonder: did they predict it, or have these people read these books and gone, "Fuck me, that's a good idea"?
I have no idea. I don't know. Probably half and half.
Sorry, I'm just typing something. Just saying good evening to Sian. She's in the pub and she's been working all day. But you go back to the Orwell's Animal Farm. Now, to me, what that says is that was because of the way it was written and the characters in it, that was directed at the kids. That was trying to teach the kids what's coming. 1984 was for adults. Animal Farm was more directed at the kids. There was a message for adults in there, but I think using the animals as characters, that's where they were targeted on that one.
Mm. Yeah.
And in the beginning, people took them. It's only recently now, since everything's kicked off, that people have started to take notice of what's in them books. I mean, 1984 was on the curriculum at school.
Yeah, I read it. I read it at all level. Cracky, we're going back about, 30 years now.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going back over 45 years.
1984 was on the curriculum on the old all levels. I were on the cusp when they were bringing in the GCSEs and everything. I think I did 4 O levels and 4 CSE GCSEs.
The one that was put out alongside it that we read in the same year was a brilliant book, and that was Kes.
Oh yeah, that were on curriculum and all.
Yep.
Well, it must be about at least 10 years between me and you, because I'm 57.
Well,
So
I'm 63 next month.
Right, yeah. So the curricula is only about 6 years difference, isn't there? Something like that.
I mean, they used to show us war documentaries at school. I can remember watching them at primary school, war documentaries, because, you know, the war was still fresh in people's minds then. You know, when I was born, I mean, rationing had only gone out about 8 years before.
Yeah, rationing ended in 1954.
Yeah, I was born in 61.
Yeah. Another scary fact is as well that all the debts and all the loans that were made by the banks, by America and the World Banks and everything to all the countries to rebuild, the English or British state actually paid back their debts to America or the World Bank at around about 2% more than Italy and Germany, and we were supposed to be fighting them. Well, their loan reparations, their loan repayments were less than the British.
We only finished paying off our war debt to America in 2019.
Yeah.
A lot of it was written off. And the only reason they kept it going is because they don't know damn well that most of the aid that was sent to this country, Britain sold to the Europeans. Most of the aid America supplied to Britain after the war went to Europe. It didn't go into Britain.
There's another insidious thing which you might have. This is why I jumped on, because when you mentioned, like, you know, the kids increasingly getting more power and the state taking responsibility for raising the children and pumping crap into their head. Nicola Sturgeon said that she wanted to appoint somebody to be an observer in every relationship that the children of Scotland had with the parents. Now, if you look at 1984, the most feared and hated people were the young party apparatchiks, the children. It got to the point where parents were scared of their own children.
Yeah.
That seems to be coming true as well.
Yep. They are.
It is brainwashing. That they are conditioning the kids now to take over and continue doing exactly the same as what they're doing now. Plus, you got the money in the country. You think about most of our nuclear industry now is owned by the Chinese or financed by the Chinese.
Yeah, Thames Water have gone bankrupt, so the state will have to step in and rescue it. Apparently, they've sent all the money the shareholders got, all the premiums and the shares and the dividends that they received. It was cheaper to pay the fines for dumping raw sewage than rather to treat it. Now they've gone bankrupt. So I think there's about a third of the British population of their water supplied by Thames Water. If you have a look at who the people have the shares are invested in it, a lot of them were like hedge funds like Vanguard, BlackRock and State Street. Other ones were like, I think the Canadian Teachers Union actually had a big share in one major corporation. I think that was the Great Northeastern Line that Richard Branson walked away from. And obviously the Chinese communist...
That was the Alaskan pipeline, wasn't it? There was a big fraud going on over that.
Yes, possibly. But your Chinese Communist Party have got a lot of money invested, as well as Russian oligarchs and everything. All the big money men, all the big massive hedge funds, the super corporations. Everybody's got the finger in the pie. They take the money and run when it turns to shit, and then the taxpayer has to pick up the bill.
But the thing is now, you've got the government threatening the water companies with big fines for dumping sewage in the river and on the beaches. Now, who's going to pay those fines? Because the water companies haven't got the money to do it.
We've even got bloody city councils going bankrupt.
Yeah, there's at the last count there was. Up until a month ago, there was about 10. There's now, I think it's 15. They're not totally bankrupt, only parts of them are. It's like the Birmingham one. That is to do with the unions and shit like that. The actual council isn't bankrupt, but they've been put in special measures, the same as the police here in the West Midlands now. They've got to account for every penny. And they can't spend it without government authorization. Because we had a big thing through the door the other day. We've got one of the women that's running for mayor, I think it is, or something like that. They're trying to do away with the local police commissioner, you know, that the councils have, and they want to put it under the mayor. They want the mayor to be running the police service. I said, well, look at the fuck up that Carnage Khan's done in London by having that power. That's going to happen. What Carnage is doing in London will eventually start happening it is happening in other cities around the country. They're destroying us. They've started with the biggest one. That's why nobody's bothered challenging Khan and pulling him down. They've started with that one, and that will be the role model for the rest of the cities. And they're saying now, if he gets back in as mayor on this next election, it's literally going to be by fraud. Because even his own people is, what can I say without sounding racist? Indians, biggest communities in London, even they're turning against him now. They're not backing him. They want him out. They want him gone because they realise that the oppression and the shit that he's doing is coming down on them as well as us. So why did they vote the fucking idiot in the first place? They knew it was going to go that way. He should have been pulled down a long time ago.
You know, that quote I put in earlier, every book has been rewritten, every street name has been renamed. Well, that's essentially what Khan's been doing. They're even renaming the overground service. You know.
And that's the state of London, and he spends $6.5 million on that. $6.5 million to change the names of something that didn't fucking work anyway. He's got to go. So many people have said it, but nobody's listening. Now, if Starmer wants the next election, the first thing he needs to do is get rid of Khan. Because you look at the by-elections last night, they've lost two of the biggest seats going, and that fucking idiot Mogg stands up and calls it a victory for the Tories, for fuck's sake. What?
Well, there you go. Mogg is a hedge fund manager. I think he manages a big investment company. Now, he was pushing for Brexit. One of the first things he did was relocate from London over to Ireland because the corporation tax is cheaper, and he knew that Brexit would hit him personally in the pocket. So one thing he's saying is pro-Brexit, but the other thing, what he's doing is moving all his money out and his investments and his people that he employs out of Britain and into Ireland because they only pay 12.5% corporation tax. The companies pay double in this country, so they don't want to invest in Britain. There's no big investment in infrastructure or new technology or anything. We'd just rather bring poor people in. We're going back slippery slope back to this fucking serfdom.
Yeah. I mean, the French owned most of our power outlets. Yes, we've got a little bit of control back over certain aspects of that. But what are they doing with that extra power? Selling it to the fucking French. Why not bring our prices down here to us? Instead of supplying them, supply us at a reasonable price. But no, they'll sell it to the French because the French will pay more for it than we will. Germany learned that way. They're going back to coal-fired power stations now.
Yeah.
You know, fuck the green agenda. It just ain't going to work. And we've said that right from the beginning.
What was the first thing that BMW and Volkswagen and all these other companies did when the wall came down in 1980, whenever it was, fall of communism? They relocated all of their factories eastwards. They bought Skoda, VWs and things like that. They were not actually built in Germany. They moved them out to like Czech Republic and places like that because the labour was cheaper. And now we've got this increased globalization. Now we don't see many Europeans, British Leyland, they were a joke anyway, Ford and everything. Everything's Daihatsu and Hyundai. They made it Far East.
You think back, people used to say, oh, you know, Britain had a brilliant motor industry. No, it didn't. You got Ford, American. Hillman, stuff like that. Chrysler, American. Even British Leyland, and this was when they were still called Leyland, were being financed and using Japanese parts. The engines in the Maestros, the Montegos, the later Rovers, they were all Japanese engines. And I know that because I was working at the factory putting the fucking things together for God knows how many years. The last proper production hand-built British car using mainly British components was the MG.
Or London taxis, perhaps.
Yeah, they're an entity on themselves. They're not a big entity like Leyland was. But look how that fucked up. When they changed, exactly, Gary, they changed from British Leyland to Austin Rover. And what was the badge on the Rover cars?
Can't remember.
It was a Viking longship.
Oh, yeah.
Mm. It was that big triangular badge on the front was a Viking longship. People never used to notice that. Yeah, but Lotus, Matt, you see what engines they're using now? Most Lotuses that came out of the factory had German engines. They had BMW engines in them because they were more reliable. There is one, again, I think they used foreign engines, was Noble. They were just a sports car. But you think back in the day, you had Bristol. NSU was some fucking Czechoslovakian company or something. But companies like Bristol, Avro, companies like that, Morgan, yes, exactly, Grumpy Sapper, Morgan, Caterham, they were truly built British cars using British materials and British engineering. Nowadays, you ain't got any of that. Most of it's either Japanese or German or Korean, as Lofa said, Hyundai, Seat, those type companies. And the Japanese were the ones that killed the British market because they built better cars, they built more reliable cars, and they were fucking cheaper than the buying British. The Americans always wanted British cars. And funny enough, Japan, for the last 10 years of MGs, Japan was the biggest market of MG cars.
How can Japan do it? Because they're not rich in natural resources. They have to import everything.
It's because of their particular way of building them. Everything is done precisely. It's regimented. They never used to have any strikes in the factory. All their materials came from their own country.
And Japan is a socially, what's the word I'm looking for? Socially functional society.
Yes. And it works for them.
Have you seen that? I saw something a car slowed down and some little kids crossed the road. And as they crossed the road, they turned and bowed to the person who was actually letting them. They're so polite.
Yeah. You look, even their police, they walk up, they'll give someone a bollocking for something. The person they're bollocking will accept that bollocking. They'll bow at each other and walk off.
That's because their parents are allowed to teach them that shit, and they're taught that shit in school as well.
Yeah, they've been brought up to be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what they're told, even if they're getting a bollocking, they're respectful. Yes, they had the silly, you could only have so many kids and this, that, and the other. But that was there for a reason. They knew they were a small country and they'd seen the pitfalls of overpopulating. Okay, yeah, it's exploded now. But yeah, Japan had a real good society. You know, and they followed the government. You know, they were all, even during the war, you know, if the emperor said, you've done something, you do something, they did it without question. Absolutely. They did not question any orders from the Japanese government. It's, yeah, I just don't know which way society is going nowadays. I'm that frightened of it. I just don't like to think about it sometimes.
Down. It's going down.
Yeah.
It's one of very, very few things in the modern world that scares me.
If
And
anybody
I don't say that like you've met me, Holly, and you know there isn't a lot fucking scares me. But where
no,
we're
there
heading
isn't.
does. It absolutely terrifies me.
It does me. I mean, there's a film called Idiocracy.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Yep.
when I first watched it when I was asleep. I wasn't awake to everything that was going on in the world. And I've watched it since, and I was just like, holy shit, that's where we're going.
Yeah. I mean, back in my
Stupid
day,
people.
you watched a science fiction film, something like that, and you took it as science fiction. But
Mhm.
nowadays, it's becoming science fact.
Mhm.
You know, the dystopian societies that you used to see in these films, that's happening. People all traveling
Soylent
in
Green.
one direction, in one speed. That's being tried now. That's what they're pushing for.
Mhm. People being fed people. Soylent Green. Or is it
Yeah.
Soylent Green? How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, Charlton Heston. People eating people. The other one, what was the one with Carousel? Logan's Run.
Mhm.
Nobody was allowed to live after, what was it, 32 years old. You all had to go on the carousel and be renewed, essentially euthanized. Those films were what we classed as entertainment. But now you can say, look at what they've done now. You could call that Logan's Run. The principle of that is literally what they've done over the last 3-4 years.
Mhm.
Allegedly. I've got to say that. Allegedly. Sorry.
Yeah.
We know. We know it's been happening. They know they're doing it, but they won't admit it. It is coming out now, but not fast enough because people aren't waking up to it. Mass suicide. And yeah, I mean, you tell me. That's exactly right, Matt. Now, you think back during the war. You did something wrong. You did something out of order. You were expected, and they did, go outside and fall on their swords. You know, okay, yeah, you got people falling on a former sword nowadays. You know, they're called, what are they? Fucking walking bomb things, human bombs. But back then, if you had disrespect in your family, you fell on your sword because you didn't want to bring that disrespect to your family. That was an honourable way out.
It's the Klingon way.
The Klingon way, yeah. And you think back, who were the other ones that were like that? Now think about this one in history.
I don't know. The Vulcans?
No. The Vikings. A Viking could keep his honour if he died with a sword in his hand. Didn't matter how he died, as long as he had a sword in his hand, he died with honour. There you go. And they would quite happily die for that honour to go to Valhalla. Reptilians. I knew somebody would start on that. Thank you, Matt. Nobody had mentioned aliens. I was watching the chat.
Me though.
But, yeah, the Norse code of ethics, yes, they were brutal. They were brutal. But they were honourable with each other. And the ones I most admire for the way they used to live and their societies, believe it or not, is the Native Americans. They were at peace with the land. Yes, there was war between tribes and that, but all the tribes were at peace with the land. They were at one with the land. They lived not on the land, they lived with it.
And the Abos.
And yeah, Aborigines in Australia, absolutely the same. We could learn, modern society could learn a lot from their history. I've always said that.
That's cultural appropriation.
Yes. Hi, Tony, welcome, mate. Sorry, I didn't see you in there, buddy. Yeah, respect and honour, Matt. Exactly. We were brought up, even my generation, to respect your elders. There's none of that nowadays.
No, there isn't.
None of that whatsoever.
It's
yes,
you are.
sure.
I am younger than you, so you are inferior to me. You will do as I say. That's how kids are
Yeah.
brought up now.
I mean, I never had a problem all through my working life if there was someone younger than me in charge, but they knew what they were doing, they were respectful, I would take their orders. If it was some little brat coming, yanking and yelling and shoving and pushing and screaming and shouting, basically they got told to fuck off and I'd walk off the job or I'd end up smacking them and getting the sack.
Mm.
You know, if you're going to give me an order, give it me respectfully and know what the order is that you're giving. Nowadays, they're just repeating something from a book or something they've been told from higher up, and that isn't giving respect to your workers. A good leader will lead from the front. He won't stand at the back with a whip. A good leader will be followed by good people.
Definitely.
And I'm not saying Britain was good. I mean, how many countries did we conquer years ago?
Third of the planet fell underneath the British flag, didn't it? At one point.
Yep. And how did they get that? By oppressing that nation. It started with the Crusades. We're going to go out there and we're going to beat Christianity into them, and we'll kill anybody that disagrees with us.
I think that the Muslim conquest of North Africa was well underway, and they were actually pushing up into Europe and in the Balkans. And I think that the Crusades were a reaction to Ottoman Muslim expansionism and empire building.
But the Ottoman Empire was a massive empire at one point.
They had all Spain and Portugal at one point.
Yep.
All of North Africa, all the way out towards. They had it. They owned the Mughals. They were Muslims. They ran India before the British. One empire displaces another, and I really do think that
most of the trade routes were run by the Ottomans or brokered by the Ottomans. You know, and you think of the other big societies that fell by the wayside. You know, you've got the Peruvians, the Aztecs, the Mayans. They all, okay, yeah, they had sacrifices and shit like that. Everybody learned that. But their society worked. You know, it's, I just can't get my head around it nowadays. It just sends me into a spin. What's that going? Name a country we did win a war with. We haven't won any off our own back. We have always had help. Boy Lee, good afternoon, Steve. Or good evening.
You know, they're shifting allegiances from, you know, we're at war with the country, and 100 years later, they're our allies. The country, historically, Britain has been most engaged with in terms of years is France. And, you know, for much of that time, the Germans and the Russians were actually our allies.
And the French conquered a lot out in the Middle East as well, didn't they?
Yeah, Egypt. I mean, we had to have the Battle of the Nile to get Egypt back from Napoleon. Napoleon tried to take on Russia and he failed. Mustache Man tried to take on Russia and he failed. Don't these idiots ever learn anything?
This is why they want to erase our history. Because people can learn from it if they went to look. But unfortunately, people aren't looking. They say history repeats itself. Yes, it does. Many times. And until people start to learn from it, nothing on that will change. And this is why they had, back in the day, you had your book burnings and shit like that. Because they didn't want people to learn from it. They just wanted you to be compliant. Same as now. Look how they're persecuting Christians in this country, a Christian country. I mean, you all know I don't have fuck all to do with religion. I don't do religion. If people want it, absolutely fine. Don't bring it to me. But I don't agree with the way the government and the police are persecuting Christians.
No, we've got two-tiered policing. Quite obvious, two-tiered. It's selective policing.
Yeah. How long is it going to be before they make it illegal for carol singers at Christmas and stuff like that? Easter. What are they going to do? Ban that?
Cadbury's won't have that.
No. Yeah, Exactly, Matt. We've had 2 wars with the Afghans, lost both fucking times, invited them in here, and now they're starting another fucking war with them.
Afghanistan's never been taken. They threw the British out. They got rid of the Russians, and that what a humiliating retreat. Biden told the troops to get out. Do you remember seeing all those pictures of those people clinging to the underside of
galaxies?
Yeah, dropping out of the sky. And apparently he left an estimated $56 billion worth of military hardware behind.
Oh yeah, and they got a lot of it working as well. Apache helicopters, the Black Hawks. The Americans said they disabled a lot of the weapons they left, but come on, those countries have been making counterfeit weapons for years. They'll make anything work. They've even done their own ammo manufacturing now to fit the NATO weapons that were left there. Before, they couldn't get NATO-sized rounds, but now they're producing their own to fit those weapons. Yes, resist. Absolutely. The war with Germany, Putin suspended the war there. But you go back to the Second World War, the Russians knew exactly what they were doing. They forced the Germans into a winter war. The Germans weren't prepared for it. And that is basically what the Germans' downfall was with the fight against the Russians. All right, Steve. You're muted, mate. You've got yourself muted out there, buddy. And now we are, and now his device isn't connected. He's pressed the wrong button. Gary said there, we're fighting internal war. Yes, and there was a perfect post which I did share on Facebook. We are now fighting against our own people for control of our country. We're not fighting an external force. The external force is there, but it's been bought in by our own country. And we will end up fighting our own countrymen before this is finished. I can guarantee it.
I have to wonder, going back in history, who was the best prime minister that we never had? Was it Enoch Powell or was it Tony Benn?
I personally think Powell.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Tony Benn, for a lefty. Tony Benn for a lefty was okay. I was watching a James Delingpole podcast yesterday with Godfrey Bloom, the old UKIP guy. And they were saying that most of these wars were only ever fought for rich people, very, very rich people, so they could actually destroy things and then charge people for the privilege of rebuilding them. Even Peter Hitchens said we should never have got involved in the First World War. It was a European war, and we should never have got involved. We should never have been dragged in.
No, what started that was the assassination of Ferdinand, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was a European
and who did that? Who did that? Who assassinated Ferdinand and started the First World War?
Well, it's the Austro-Hungarian Empire. They were ruling over eastern states that wanted independence.
Yep.
So why did we get involved? Why were we dragged into it? It's a complete waste of time and money. It's a distraction.
We got involved in it because our monarchy at the time, half of them were German.
Well, they had to change the name to Windsor because Saxe-Coburg-Gotha sounded too Germanic.
And a lot of them in the British Army, the generals and the officers were given the choice. Look, you either fight for us or you fight for your people over there. And a lot of them went and fought over there for Germany.
Now, look at it again. A king at the time in the First World War, he was cousins with both the Kaiser and the Tsar.
Yep.
It's all about control and power, rich people. And it's all right banging the drum of patriotism and everything, to get people to sacrifice themselves for these big elites. But that was a regional war. That was a European war. And then we had the world, it was worldwide because of the corporations and all the businesses that had moneyed interests in it, and all the empires overseas we thought would drag these in. Why should the Indians get involved? A lot of Indian people came over to fight in the First World War. Why should they get involved? Why should they? Yeah. Oh, that was another thing as well. The Gurkhas, as somebody was saying, it came up on Twitter. Gurkhas, the selection process to become a Gurkha rifleman is absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
And these people have won so many Victoria Crosses. I mean, the valor is, for considering it's such a small regiment, they've won so many VCs, and they weren't eligible for full British Army pensions after they'd done this, the 7, 10 years or what have you.
It
I
was
thought that was
less than
absolutely
10
disgusting.
It was less than 10 years ago before the Gurkhas were actually given the recognition they were deserved.
And Joanna Lumley petitioned for it.
Yes.
And she got a Tory junior minister out to offer a grovelling apology to actually turn it around so they were entitled to exactly the same citizenship and pension rights. I tell you what, when it comes to immigration, I'd rather have a few Nepalese Gurkhas living in the country than some other people I could mention.
Yeah, that Joanna Lumley, she loves a Gurkha.
She was born in India.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard some stories coming back from the Falklands because a few of my mates were out there. And the Argentinians were absolutely fucking terrified of the Gurkhas. Now, they put the Gurkhas, they knew what had happened. The British officers would set the Gurkhas off, and once they were going, they couldn't stop them. So what they did is they put a lot of the Gurkhas on guard duty over the Argentinians in the barbed wire compounds. Now, this actually is a true story. Because the Argentinians, a lot of them were Roman Catholic, the British Army allowed the Padres to go in to give them mass on a Sunday. But because a lot of the Argentinians couldn't understand them, the British soldiers were telling the Argentinians that the priest was there to give them their last rites because the Gurkhas were going to eat them.
Oh, Jesus. Were any of the Gurkhas Muslim, do you think? Because it'd be nice to see Gurkhas and burkas.
Gurkhas and burkas. Yeah. I mean, and a lot of people don't realise the history between the kukri, the Gurkha knife. I mean, that is actually a farmer's knife. A fucking camera's gone again. The kukri is a Nepalese farmer's tool. Believe it or not. Let me just switch that camera over a minute.
No, it's all right now.
Wasn't there an old myth that once they drew their knife, it had to see blood before going away again?
That's a myth, mate. It's a myth. What they were, if you look at a proper traditional Gurkha set, you've got the big knife and what looks like 2 knives underneath it. Now, the big knife was for butchering cattle. The little knife was for skinning them. And the other one wasn't actually a knife at all. It was a form of steel to sharpen both knives.
Mm.
I used to collect a lot of knives and I used to look up the history of them. But I've seen the Gurkhas. My sister, she used to run a lot of the local marathons back home when she first joined up with the army. Now, they had, I think there was about 8 of them, Gurkhas that turned up to do this marathon. And I'm not joking, at the end, they all waited for one that had lagged a little bit behind. And now he lagged behind because he twisted an ankle. But 2 of them stayed with him and basically carried him the last 5 miles. And the others slowed down for them to catch up because they said they would wait for them so they could all cross the line together. And even with all that, I couldn't see a bead of sweat on one of them. And that was at the Abingdon Marathon. Yeah, Gary, most of mine, I can't show them on here for legal reasons with YouTube. But yeah, you know, I've had everything from hunting knives, skinning knives, working knives. And, you know, it's... But guys, that's 10 to 7. I'm going to start winding down very, very soon. Literally because I'm getting hungry. My throat is starting to hurt.
I will drop down so you can start to wind down then.
No worries, Holly. Thank you for being in there and modding as usual. Although, as absolutely as always, guys in the chat there, absolutely brilliant, so respectful, and it is actually nice to sit in a stream when nobody has to be bollocked, warned, modded upon, and that's what I like to see. And it's a bloody shame that more channels can't do that on here. It really is. It is.
But, yeah, I will see you all from the chat.
And after that, we will see you on Dave tonight, no doubt.
I have to go on a Normie stream on Friday. I need a night off from a.
Well, you ain't going to get that on Big Dave Green's. That's going to be anything but normal.
I popped in last Friday and saw what was going on. Just said, hello, folks, I'm on a Normie stream. And what I actually caught was hilarious.
You should have seen the start of it when he was on here Friday afternoon before he fired up, because he started that one up as soon as I'd finished mine. But he said the same as me this week. It gives everybody that little bit of a break, go and have something to eat, or go and get pissed even before he fires up. Like, but yeah, I mean, I was cracked up. I just lost the plot last week with it. I just couldn't cope.
Could I just mention to Gary in the chat that his secret is safe with me?
Oh, you've got secrets, have you?
Well, I didn't know I did, but there's something I'm not about. I can't tell you, Roger, which is just as well, because I don't know it myself.
That's fine, mate.
I have said too much.
Yeah, thank you, Highbox. I have lasted longer than I thought I was going to do. I can feel the throat going now, and I can hear Heather doing something out in the kitchen, so tea will be imminent as well. So, as always, guys, thank you for turning up today. Thank you for the respect you've shown, as always. Don't forget Big Dave from 8 o'clock. If you haven't caught the link, it's in the chat there. You can always go back to the description in this video, which has got the link below it. And also there's the 2 links in there to the swine flu videos I did. If you're interested in what happened with the compensation back then, to show just how much Sunak's lying at the moment, the information is in there. I can't remember which one. That's why I put both links up.
Everybody knows that they've been lying, but nobody will do anything.
Yeah,
everybody thinks that they'll be the last person that the crocodile comes to eat.
But what I'm pushing is the fact that he's saying they've started up this vaccine damage compensation thing, where it's been in there since 1976. So it's nothing new. They've just amended it and updated it in their favour. So it doesn't cost them as much. The rules of it are still the same. You can sue for compensation if you've been damaged. The government will pick up the tab, not Big Pharma. They're exempt from it, but they've reduced the amount drastically, and you've got to jump through more hoops to get it, unfortunately. But I'm going to leave it there for now, guys, because my throat's going. I want to get a Lemsip down me and some food. But first of all, I want to go out the back and cough my frigging guts up. So, but guys, thank you. And as always, before we go, stay safe, stay strong, and stay free. It's goodbye for me and the lovely Mrs. W in the background.
Goodbye from her.
We will see you all next week as usual.
Later, guys. Later,
Night.
Take care, guys.